Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. That might genuinely be the stupidest argument I've ever heard in my entire life. Straight up. And I've seen a lot of, like, I'm talking like, you know, Twitter posts, subreddits. Patrick Bet-David's lack of knowledge and lack of intellectual curiosity is genuinely confusing me. If that argument is 2 + 2 = 5, this is 2 + 2 = fish. Incredible. This is beyond a non sequitur. I've actually never seen the nuclear grade enriched uranium version of stupidity until this very moment. That's right. We're moving on. We're back to Patrick Bet-David. Ladies and gentlemen, it's valuetainment time. Are you valuetained?
That Benjamin Netanyahu went to the Situation Room and made the case to Trump with Mossad joining via Zoom or wherever it was, and he persuaded Trump that this will be a walk in the park, cakewalk, all of that shit. That happened in private.
What's your percentage that happened?
That happened in private.
What's your percentage that
high
happened?
percentage.
Give me a number, 80%?
80%.
I'm 50-50 that happened.
Okay. You think Trump did it on his own without Netanyahu?
No. I said I'm 50-50, meaning I believe there's a 50% chance because...
But you don't deny that behind the scenes, the Israelis are putting pressure on the U.S.
Of course I know.
Okay. So then to come back to your broader
I don't think he's Bush. I don't think he's Obama. I don't think he's Biden. I don't think he's those guys.
In many ways, he's worse.
No. I don't think he
doesn't have any independent views.
The one thing I know with you, Mehdi, is the fact that no matter what he does, he's not going to get victory from you. We have to put those two.
Again, you can go back on YouTube, rewind an hour. I said if he restrains Netanyahu in Gaza and Lebanon.
You said if.
He won't. I know he won't.
No, I understand. But have you ever given him any credit for anything he's done? When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function.
Ain't no way, dog. Ain't no way that Patrick Bet-David has a shoe. Okay, we got to watch this ad. I'm sorry. He has a shoe that says future looks bright.
We had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless.
Oh my God. What the is this, bro? Oh my God. It looks so bad. Oh, what do you do? What do you do when the homie rolls up in them Patrick Bet-Davids? Ah! Yo! Yeah! What the hell is this? It's like, is it casual? Is it supposed to be dressy? He made these shoes. First of all, there's no laces, but he wants to have the appearance of laces. And it's supposed to be like a casual shoe that you can wear under a suit. Nah, Loki, get a pair. Ain't no. Wait, what? $600? $600? $600. Ain't no way. Oh my God. He chose to make them neither fast nor cheap nor good looking. Brother, this is incredible. God, Patrick Bet-David, you're actually a legend, dude. God, you're a legend. Holy shit. You are a goddamn legend for this.
In the first term, I wrote a piece for The Intercept. I got a lot of shit for it because I said credit where credit's due. He's going to withdraw from Afghanistan. Remember, he laid out that timeline that Biden then got attacked for following. It was a Trump timeline to pull out of Afghanistan.
The way he did it.
Trump would have done it better. Come on. It was always going to be a disaster, no matter how you pull out of Afghanistan.
There was many military personnel said there was better ways to leave.
No, I don't agree on that. But
many military.
Can I come back to your? Can I come back to your wider point?
Tell me.
Oh my God, he's showing me. I need to take a shower now. Bravo, Donald Trump is the headline. Rob's too fast. All right, so let me come back to the wider point. Forget Trump.
I always knew. I introduced him properly at the beginning. Big MAGA supporter.
That's 2020. 6 years ago, we all grow, evolve, learn from our mistakes. So. The broader point about America and Israel, Iran, to go back to your IRGC point, forget Trump for a moment. Let's just take US foreign policy as a whole. When you say it's Israel, I don't accept that. I think this new thing on the right where you say, Tucker Carlson, Joe Kent, all this line, which is like, America's good, it's bad Israel, making good.
Also, Trump's Afghanistan deal wasn't bad, which is why I also gave Joe Biden credit for that too. Ironically enough, Donald Trump literally delivered that deal to Joe Biden's administration, and then Joe Biden actually pulled the trigger on it, and then Trump never let him go. Trump consistently yelled at Joe Biden over the Afghan withdrawal, which was his deal. But yes, pulling out of Afghanistan objectively was a good thing, okay? What the
America. I'm not saying you did, but I'm saying others. It's becoming a very consensus view, which is America's really good, and then evil Israel comes on and makes good America do bad things.
No.
We need to take agency and responsibility. We are the superpower. And when Israel's murdering Iranian nuclear scientists or murdering Iranian diplomats who might do a deal with them, we have to take ownership for that. They don't do that without an American green light. They didn't kill Khamenei without an American green light. They don't do shit without an American green light. So I don't buy this idea that Israel is some rogue force. Going back to the Barack Ravid point about there's all these splits between the president and the prime minister. 9 times out of 10, America and Israel are on the same page. 1 time out of 10, they're on a different page.
Yeah. So
we had moderate presidents in Iran. They got screwed over. Khatami, Rouhani. They got screwed over by Western governments that wouldn't do a nuclear deal.
Israel went out and killed the 50 guys. We could have worked together, whatever. And Trump kept saying, everybody we're negotiating with, they're killing them. Who's they? Who's he saying
and you think Israel can do that if Trump wanted them to stop? Come on.
No. What I'm saying to you is Israel, when they get their intel and they want to take somebody out, you remember the pagers. They got very good intel. They don't have a problem going and doing what they're doing. I understand Israel's motive.
So do I.
I understand Israel's motive.
But I'm saying they get a green light from the U.S.
I don't think as much under him as others. I do think they're an ally for the Middle East. And I'm not, like, you're a business guy now. You're a capitalist. So one of the things you'll experience, because you're a capitalist, nothing wrong. You should be proud of it. You should be, look at the smile on your face. You're making more money than ever before.
You're a numbers guy.
It's a good line.
Are you making more money?
I'm a numbers guy. You're a business guy. Okay? And I know business. I'm a numbers guy, but I'm a business guy. Taliban in power is a good thing. Objectively a better thing than us still occupying Afghanistan. Yes. Wait, what? You literally are arguing against the Afghan withdrawal? What the There ain't no way, bro. 11-month subscriber? Are you serious? Wait, what? I know you like a number. What the bro? Defending the Afghan occupation in the Big 226. Oh my Lord. Have you seen Afghanistan now? Yes, I have. Wait, are you? There's no shot you're genuinely saying the American withdrawal should have never happened from Afghanistan, right? Oh my God. Respect, Chatter. Chatter's like, hey, I know we spent $8 trillion. I know we spent $8 trillion to replace the Taliban with the Taliban after 20 years. But what if it was 21 years and $9 trillion instead? Just one more year, bro. Just one more year and we would have fixed it up. America fixed it up. Shouldn't they fix it? There is no fixing it.
You're less money right now.
I'm making more money.
That's good. There's nothing wrong. We should be proud of it.
Did I say that? That's not my definition.
But here's where I'm going with this. In the last couple of years since you've been private, how many opportunities have you had to do deals with people?
Many.
Many. When you're on the call, do you know their motives?
No.
Their motives are typically beneficial to who?
Themselves.
Themselves. Is that something that you and I would be surprised with? No. Why are you here today? Why do I have you on today? It's going to be a good show for us. Why are you on here today? You don't live down the street. You came. There's a motive.
Yes.
Both of us have a motive, so both of us are winning from this exchange that we have. Okay.
Understood.
In that sense, the way they negotiate, then it goes to who's the better negotiator. Then it goes to who gave up more. Then it goes to all the other stuff that you got to go through, and you got to make adjustments.
Well, Trump is a horrible negotiator. And as Benjamin Netanyahu said, these are Benjamin Netanyahu's words, for 40 years, I've dreamt of attacking Iran. He's the only president who would listen to me. Those are Netanyahu's words. I'm paraphrasing.
For 40 years, Trump
Every
said
president said no.
In 1987, he would go and take over Karuk Island. He said that in 85. You make it seem like this guy's not an independent thinker.
Well, he's not an independent
Trump
thinker.
said that in 85.
Hold on. He also said, none of us knew they would hit the Strait of Hormuz. None of us knew they would hit the Gulf countries. You idiot. Everyone knew this.
You can't give him credit that he said this 40 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know how he got that one thing consistent.
Oh,
but what
yeah,
about the
I
actual
don't know
war?
how this one thing he did.
Wait,
I don't know how he came
Patrick-
back.
Dog, who gives a Yeah, we hit Garg. It was a bad decision. So it was a bad decision in 1987. Who cares? It has remained a bad decision. Wow. You don't understand. You don't understand. Donald Trump was wrong in 1987, and he kept being wrong in 2026. Okay. What am I supposed to give him credit for? Who gives a if he was stupid all the way back then? Now he's stupid with actual intelligence on his side.
Patrick, you keep asking me to give him credit.
Yeah.
The Iran war, you praised him.
Here's the thing. Also, Donald Trump himself said voting for Kamala Harris would mean going to war with Iran, like waging unnecessary wars. So expecting consistency from him is unbelievably stupid. So yeah, if you're trying to claim that this was like his decision because he's consistently wanted to wage war with Iran since 1987, well, okay, he's either consistently stupid and wrong, and we're currently living through that, or if you want to recognize the reality that he's not an independent decision maker in this situation and he totally got goaded into it in large part by Benjamin Netanyahu, if you don't want to recognize that reality, rather, then you have to still recognize that he either independently made this bad and stupid decision, but that's not exactly a good thing for Trump, or he got goaded into it by Benjamin Netanyahu. Neither outcome is good.
On day one of the Iran war, would you accept today it's been an absolute disaster because Donald Trump is not a war leader? He doesn't understand foreign policy. He doesn't understand war. He just said this week, I'm bored. You know what he said this week? I'm bored of all this.
Mehdi.
Like a child.
Mehdi, let me tell you what it is. You know, I have a local doctor I want you to go see. He specializes in TDS. And I think you would work very well with him. Over a 6-month period, he'll be able to get rid of your TDS.
I have a guy who's a psychologist, and he deals with cult members.
Yep.
And I think he'll do well with you guys who can't get out of the Trump cult.
See the
right?
difference?
I asked you, I gave you an opportunity in front of your audience to criticize Trump on Iran. You can't do it.
I will.
It's been a disaster.
Can I tell you?
Please.
The difference between you and I is I will sit there and I'll give credit and I'll criticize.
I'll give him credit. What should I give him credit for?
I am more supportive of him than you are.
What should I give him credit for?
Because the longer you're a capitalist, you're going to want somebody that's pro-capitalism.
The economy is horrific under him.
Because
my business is doing badly because of him.
It's
because of the war? Who started the war? He did.
I take ownership that he started the war.
So when you say give him credit,
can I
Give
finish?
him
You're going to allow me to finish my thought?
Please.
Did you give him credit with Venezuela?
No, of course not. Illegal action.
So that's also no.
He broke international law, American law, the Constitution.
So that's a no for you as well.
He killed a grandmother.
Let me ask you a question.
And he brought this guy into a court case that he might lose.
If they take over Cuba, would that be a victory in your eyes? So give it already criticism up front.
You think I'm supporting? You want me to come here to Florida and support imperialism? You support imperialism.
So
you support just invading other countries.
So you go back.
Patrick.
You go criminal. Well, how the hell do you think America got so big? What do you think they did? It was an expansionist James Polk idea.
Oh my God. It's so funny. He's literally like, dude, this is why Republicans win though, straight up. Because like a lot of people are just very dumb and they're like, what do you mean? If you got it, you got to use it, man. It's good. I guess the counter to that literally is like liberalism, internationalism under a liberal world order is a progressive force in history. And the question at that point is, okay, do you think that we should still have like warring factions and unlimited tribalism in the world and go back to an era where, you know, the French and the Englishmen were fighting each other for 100 years? Like, do you think that is a better situation? Because that's what happens with might makes right. The American design had to abide by at least some boundaries. The American design had to abide by certain restrictions. Obviously, America violated it all the time, but there was some there was at least like some kind of lip service offered to the international rule-based order at times, and that kind of kept things intact. Might makes right is the reason why currently America's getting its shit pushed in by Iran, because Iran was like, all right, if you don't play by the rules, we can't play by the rules either, and that's the reason why we're going to close the Strait of Hormuz.
Of let's go out there and buy all these other places.
Was there international law, the UN Charter, the Geneva Conventions at the time?
But you're sitting here complaining about something like this, where you're living in a country. It's because of the byproduct of the visionaries previous to us that they made it what it is today. Why do you?
Oh my God, it's Zen fascism. He's doing it. Mehdi, you don't understand. You're also a beneficiary of American imperialism. You're a part of the labor aristocracy, my friend. Don't you realize that this American bounty that inevitably comes back to you is the reason why we have such a robust system? If we don't extract natural resources from the periphery, someone's got to do it. I just spat out a piece of rice from my mouth. I don't even know where it went. I'm a numbers guy.
Feel so safe here?
Bizarre argument.
Why do you
I know you really like the numbers.
Alaska, we should go conquer Cuba.
No, that's not what I'm telling you.
Sounds like it.
If they're expanding, I don't mind an expansionist president. I don't.
You
mind
like
it.
imperialism. So how are you different to the IRGC?
I don't mind an expansionist.
How are you different to the IRGC? Everyone says
what?
Everyone says
Islamic Revolutionary Guard.
They're accused.
Everything is about.
Wait, what? Mehdi, what the has the IRGC done that is dude, come on, Mehdi. God damn it. Let him finish? Okay.
They're
God
accused.
tells them what to do, and no. Death upon America.
They're accused of being expansionist, of trying to take over the Middle East. That's the big allegation that the Gulf states make against Iran. And yet you're sitting here saying, but we should take over the Western Hemisphere.
By the way, do you know what I would actually say?
I'm not imperialist.
Let me ask you a question. You got how many subscribers do you have with your channel right now that are paying you?
On Substack?
On Substack.
I'm not going to say that number.
Let's say it's 100,000 people. Okay. There you go.
It's not.
Wait, he did it again. He did it again. He literally keeps asking. He keeps asking these questions. As soon as Mehdi retaliates and offers a reasonable counter, instead of addressing the counter at all, Patrick Bet-David immediately moves on to a totally separate question. Oh my God.
Not sadly.
Okay, but let's just say you have 50 to 100,000 people. You're doing well. You're making good money. Yeah. Okay. Have you taken any viewership from anybody else?
What do you mean?
Are people watching you that used to watch somebody else on YouTube? What an expansionist you are. What a shameful expansionist capitalist.
I've been with you for 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. That might genuinely be the stupidest argument I've ever heard in my entire life. Straight up. And I've seen a lot of, like, I'm talking like, Twitter posts, subreddits. It sincerely reminds me of when people try to make the comparison that I'm basically Jeff Bezos because I react to other people's YouTube videos or whatever. And it's still somehow dumber than that. I would much rather have to deal with someone sincerely believing that I'm basically Jeff Bezos and I'm exploiting other people's labor by reacting to their YouTube videos. I think that's a more intelligent argument. And it's not an intelligent argument at all, but it's still a more intelligent argument than the one that Patrick Bet-David just advanced. Yeah. If that argument is 2 + 2 = 5, this is 2 + 2 = fish. Incredible. This is beyond a non sequitur. I've actually never seen the nuclear grade enriched uranium version of stupidity until this very moment. And he's so happy about it. Look at his face.
This guy's expanding his YouTube channel, but God forbid anybody else does it.
I've waited 1 hour, 20 minutes for you to say the dumbest thing with respect, Patrick. That is not an analogy.
Every time you say the dumbest things is when you get cornered. What do you mean you're expanding?
That is the worst analogy.
You're expanding.
Did I go into the New York Times? Hold on. Let's take your analogy. Did I walk into the New York Times and abduct the editor-in-chief of the New York Times, put a bag over his head,
do you have any employees?
Take him out in order to undermine the New York Times?
Do you have any employees?
Yes.
How many of them came volunteer? How many of them did you recruit and hire away from another company?
How many of them did I get with a gun and a special forces team? You're making a ridiculous analogy.
Oh my
you
goodness.
Expand as a business. That's the same as illegally occupying other people's land.
What la-la land are you living in? Like, what do you think happened to this world?
World of law.
What do you think happened to this world?
You do realize the problem that the MAGA folks have when they say this is you lose any credibility to criticize anyone else. You can't criticize Iran then. You can't criticize Hamas.
And I don't.
You don't criticize Hamas?
No, I don't criticize. If you're able to expand.
So if Hamas goes into Israel, you're for that?
It's not about if I'm for that or not. If you're able to successfully do it, that's your vision. I know I have to defend against it. What?
Oh my God, he's so awesome. All right, I'm back in. I'm back in. No, he literally is so one-track minded on being Sigma grind set that he literally said if Hamas were to militarily occupy Israel, then that's their vision. And they went out there and they said, I'm a numbers guy. We're going to ChatGPT it. We're going to grok it. And we're going to seize Israel. And they did it. You got to defend it. You got to defend it. I'm a numbers guy. Listen, the problem with Hamas that I have, Patrick Bet David, is that they're not Sigma grind setting hard enough. They're not locking in. If they had actually bought my new shoes, that would have given them the confidence. If they were wearing my $600 shoes, that would have given them the confidence during October 7th to seize control over the Knesset. Okay, at which point I would be defending it because they locked in. They have the vision. He said, like, look.
Able to expand.
So if Hamas goes into Israel, you're for that?
It's not about if I'm for that or not. If you're able to successfully do it, that's your vision. I know I have to defend against it. What do you think companies do? How do you think companies work? What do you think companies are supposed to do?
I think it's insane that you're comparing business expansion to us going around the world killing people.
Mehdi, why do you think we have military?
To
for what?
defend ourselves.
Against what?
Threats.
Against
but
another
you
one
want to
trying
be
expand.
the threat.
I'm not saying that.
You think Cuba's trying to expand right now?
No.
You think Cuba's trying to expand? Where are they expanding to? Miami?
No.
You've been living in Miami too long.
By the way, maybe
I think you've been drinking too much Miami water.
I actually rarely go to Miami. Maybe that's their fault. Maybe that's their fault.
What's their fault?
Maybe their ideology, communism, created a poor country and their people want something better.
But that doesn't give us the right to go and take over the country.
How do you think all this stuff happened in history?
Okay, lots of things happened in history that weren't right.
Yeah, but guess what?
This is 2026.
Dude, you understand. You've taken...
Dude, it's actually shocking. Patrick Bet David's lack of knowledge and lack of intellectual curiosity is genuinely confusing me. Okay? I did not realize that people like this actually existed in the real world. Like he has expanded. His first principles are it's a dog eat dog world. Everybody capitalist, everything capitalism, everything business. Okay. And because that's his only worldview, that's where it begins and ends. He is applying that to international relations. And what's shocking about this worldview is that it would literally justify chattel slavery. Like every single awful thing that has ever happened throughout history, you would justify with this mentality. It's awesome.
Market share from other people. Your viewers were somebody else's viewers that came to you.
So you support,
kudos to you.
So you want just to be clear, you want some kind of law of the jungle where might is right, power.
What do you think the law
you're
is?
You're fine.
But what do you think the law is?
I noticed you don't answer any question.
No.
It's a very simple question. Yes or no? Do you support a law of the jungle where might is right?
Do you believe in non-compete?
You can't answer a question with a question. You have to answer the question. Do you support a might is right view where law of the jungle, whoever's powerful gets to do what they want?
I'm trying to find... No. I'll answer it for you. I'm trying to find out what other law of the land you think we live in. Help me understand.
We have domestic law, we have international law, we have criminal law.
What is the...
I don't know where you're living.
What do you use?
You've been in Florida far too long.
Do you use ChatGPT or do you use Claude? Which do you use more?
Probably ChatGPT more.
No, I can't. No, I'm sorry. I almost choked on a piece of chicken, bro. This guy never answers a question. I'm realizing he never answers a question. Every single time, bro. Every single time. It's always a non sequitur.
GPT more than Claude? Okay. Do you know when it first started who had the biggest market share?
ChatGPT.
Oh, who do you think's killing it right now?
Claude.
Claude's picking it up. Why?
Because they invaded another country, kidnapped the president.
Because they produced a better product.
Did they?
And
hold
this
on.
is why.
Did
Mehdi.
Amade? What's the guy's name? Dario Amade. What's his name?
Yeah.
The guy who runs Claw. Did he go into Sam Altman's house in the middle of the night, take Sam Altman and his wife, put bags on their heads, and fly them back to his compound, and kill a grandmother in the process?
Difference. The only difference is that, but war is
That is the big difference, Patrick. I can't believe you don't see it.
No. I understand what you're saying in the argument of that, but the reality of it is, which is what?
A law of the jungle where the might is right. Do you support a world? Do you like living in a world?
Are
you pro? Do you support the idea of living in a world where powerful countries should be able to do what they want?
Can I ask you a question? What country?
You keep answering question with a question.
Why do you live in America? Why do you live in America? The most
Because I like the law.
world.
You know what I like about the US?
It's the most powerful.
No.
Go live in Iran.
No.
Go live in Iraq.
I don't live here because it's the most powerful country.
Why do you live here?
Because many reasons.
Give me.
One is it's a country that's governed by laws, principles, free speech.
Yes.
I love the First Amendment, the Constitution.
Yeah.
I don't favor presidents and people who say we should just break the law because we can.
I didn't say break the law.
What do you mean? Taking over Cuba is breaking the law. UN Charter. That's the law of the land.
If they come and they try to take over.
Who's coming?
Whoever it is. Trump's already talking about it. Rubio's already talking about it.
The Cubans are not taking over anything.
No, Cubans are not.
I'm going to keep it $1.50. I get why millions, tens of millions voted for Donald Trump. Yeah. Like, this guy's an intellectual giant on the right. Think about that. Like, we're over here dunking on him. We're like, he's so profoundly stupid, right? Meanwhile, there's out there who not only watch this guy, hang on every word of his, think he's brilliant. They buy his $600 shoes. Those guys vote. And you bet your ass they're voting for Donald Trump. Okay? Yeah. We were wondering why they keep saying like Cuba is going to do an attack. There's an imminent threat from Cuba. It turns out Patrick bet David.
Not taking over anything.
We are launching a war of aggression like the Nazis. Nuremberg called it. You know what the Nuremberg Tribunal called a war of aggression?
I'm assuming
the supreme international war crime.
Is it fair to say you were against tariffs on day one?
Yes.
I was for tariffs. Guess what Supreme Court ruled?
Against tariffs.
Okay, great. Yeah. Guess what? You just.
Okay.
That's what happened. If they go...
You want to live in a world where Trump says, F the Supreme Court, and that's what J.D. Vance has said on the record.
Not at all.
J.D. Vance has said this on the record. But you just said you want
I'm not.
People
but let me
get to do what they want.
Look, let me tell you.
You said it. Everyone can watch it.
Trump's the president, okay? A few years ago, Biden was the president. In 2028, AOC could be the president. Newsom could be the president. Rubio could be the president. Somebody else could be the president, right? Every time the opposing side is the president, the opposing side thinks it's the end of the world. What ends up happening to America? What ends up happening?
Bad things.
No, not necessarily. Eventually goes back to normalcy. And it's like, I'm going to go the
I
other.
look at the Trump first term and I see 500,000 people killed from COVID because he couldn't handle a pandemic.
But do you know why, though? What protects America the way it does?
I would argue our laws, constitution,
I agree.
principles, history.
I like Supreme...
And you're saying I want to throw it all out
but
to have an imperialist nation.
If a leader comes in that is a visionary leader that wants to expand and grow, and he can do it within his terms, and Supreme Court and law allows it, I don't mind him doing
First
that.
of all, the Supreme Court law doesn't allow it. Venezuela was unconstitutional. Congress declares war in this country.
Yeah, then if that's the case,
president.
well, we saw that with the 60-day rule with Iran.
He's violated that.
I understand that. And they're working around that right now in different ways.
American law. What about international law? Even if the American Congress votes to attack Cuba, that doesn't make it legal in international law. You can't attack other countries.
Mehdi, let me ask you, if, for instance,
tomorrow you'll say 9/11 was just... Do you support 9/11? Do you support 9/11?
No.
Why? Al-Qaeda could do it. They did it. According to your logic, Al-Qaeda had every right to do it.
There's a difference between me supporting it and then them doing it and then me retaliating to you. Like right now, if you and I were sitting...
But you don't think it was illegal?
Do I? Of course it's illegal.
Why? According to you, it doesn't matter.
No, of course it's illegal.
Also, 9/11's illegal, but us attacking Cuba is legal.
I didn't tell you. You never heard me say attacking. If they can go and take it over without attacking and the laws allow it, guess what? I'm for it.
But none of those things are... None of those things happened with Venezuela, and actually the exact opposite of those things happened with Venezuela, and you are still supporting it. Who cares? I genuinely think he's like flailing around here to try to hold on to some kind of counter position because he has nothing. Straight up, he's got nothing. Like, there is no real disagreement here because there is no argument here. He's just being... He's just operating off of vibes and being a pure contrarian because Mehdi is woke and a libtard. And he has to like defend Donald Trump. That's it. Because like, look, the principled stance here, the right-wing principled stance here, the the pro-American intervention stance here is already laid out. He just doesn't know the talking points. Like you have to say that you have to lie, basically. You have to say that Venezuela is an imminent threat. We have to actually redouble our efforts to make sure that our own neighborhood, our own backyard is clean of any sort of like foreign intervention. Venezuela was a launching pad for Russian aggression against the United States of America, Chinese aggression against the United States of America. Venezuela also happens to be a major oil provider to Cuba, which is, again, 90 miles off of our coastline, imminent security threat. Like, there are talking points that you could advance, but he hasn't even read the talking points. He doesn't even care. By the way, I'm not saying these are correct, okay? I'm simply saying he hasn't even dignified Mehdi Hasan with a clear-cut, agenda-driven worldview as to why what Trump is doing is good. He is just a pure reactionary. He is a pure reactionary that is simply going, no, Trump did it and is good because he's got the power, he's got the bitches.
That's a whole different argument.
It's not
if
a whole
the Cuban
different.
people vote in a referendum to become the 51st
don't
state.
spin right now and make it seem like I want to go kill people and take
You
stuff over.
defended Venezuela. We killed people to get him out.
I never said but by the way,
You said give him credit.
Wait, you never defended Venezuela? You did. I know you like number.
For Venezuela, you did say that.
you don't think that was a good move?
No.
You don't think that was a good move?
I don't believe you should. I don't support regime change. I don't support assassinating foreign leaders. What did George Washington say? Don't go abroad looking for monsters to slay. Or was it Adams? I forget.
Yeah,
founder.
so you don't support what he did. You
I do not support the United States government.
Well, I thought that was a
attacking
massive
foreign
victory,
countries,
especially the way they did it.
and killing foreign leaders. Even if it has a good outcome, I don't support it because I support laws and principles.
Well, I do also support laws and principles. But if you say you support laws and principles, you're trying to tell me Obama followed everything?
No.
You telling me
he violated the law in Libya. I criticized him for
every one of them.
because I'm not in a cult. I criticized Obama in 2011 for doing Libya.
You know what's the difference between you and I and them?
I criticize people on all sides. You don't.
Yeah, we do. We do it as well. But you know what's the difference between you and I and them?
Go on.
What's the difference?
Wait, what criticisms does he have of Donald Trump? As much as I hate to admit it, your accent is getting better. I know you like number. Moving to another question. Yeah, it's actually crazy. He's genuinely asking because he doesn't know.
We do it as well. But you know what's the difference between you and I and them?
Go on.
What's the difference?
You and I and who?
You and I talking, giving our opinions, and Obama and Trump. What's the difference between you and I and them?
We're not politicians.
They made it into the White House.
Okay.
And so they're going to be able to do whatever they're going to do. You and I can talk about it, give our opinions.
We don't have an imperial presidency. We
Dude,
shouldn't have
what? He's like a child. He literally, okay. I think this is his actual worldview. I don't like, a lot of chatters initially were saying, oh, he's like, acting aloof. He's being obtuse on purpose to like try to manage the argument. No, I think he has like toddler brain. He's like, no, those guys are powerful. They won their races and they're the big business guy. I'm a business guy. I'm a numbers guy. They are the biggest business guy. If they want to me, they can. I have to open up my butthole and say, go on in, Mr. President, because they actually did it. They actually did it. They became the president. If you're the president, you are the big boss. You do whatever you want to do. F my wife, please. You can f my wife all day. It's okay. There's nothing I can do. I'll sit around. I'll say I'm a numbers guy. I'm a chat GPT it. I will grok it. But that's how it works. Like everything is a business. Everything is a business. Anyone with any power deserves the level of power that they have because they've worked tirelessly to get it. Okay? And whichever way they abuse that power, it's actually valid because they have the power to do it. If it's successful. If it's unsuccessful, well, then maybe we can have a different conversation. But of course, if it's Donald Trump doing it, I'll still act like it is successful, as is the case with Iran.
Imperial president.
We did. That's why we have the freedom of speech of giving.
Hi, Hasan. I really like your PBD impression very much. Is there a way to rewatch it? Yes. Subscribe to Valuetainment. If you subscribe to the broadcast, Piker Broadcasting Service, it's not as good as Valuetainment PBD. Okay? But this isn't PBD. This is PBS. Okay? I'm a numbers guy. And if you subscribe to the People's Broadcasting Service, independent media, you will get Valuetained more than you ever have gotten value-tained. That's right. If you subscribe, you can rewind. If you subscribe, you can send me links. And when are we getting $600 shoes with no laces for our subscribers? Soon. But yes, subscribe, chat, for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. This is the only foolproof way to support the show. Your subscriptions, your voluntary subscriptions in the form of a $5 a month or a free one in the form of Twitch Prime, are what allow me to maintain my editorial independence. I haven't been farming subs in a minute. Why exactly should I pay to send links? You shouldn't. You don't have to. There's no guarantee that I'll even click on them. The only reason why we do that is so that random people can't send like spam random links. Do a level 10 reward again? No, I don't think we're going to do it. Kill me if I ever give money to a Twitch streamer? I don't think you should be killed if you ever give money to a Twitch streamer. You're pretty cool though. I'll be honest. We all think you're cool. Cause like, it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit cooler if you were to say that on Twitter. Cause most people do that on Twitter, which is, you know, again, at least it's not literally on Twitch. But you're currently on Twitch. On what I assume is a sock account created and following at the same date. So I think you are a far bigger loser than the way you perceive a mega donor to, you know, a tier 3 subscriber to Pokimane. By the way, your mods banned me for saying your beard was going gray. Okay. I don't know why they did that, but you've proven once again that it was a worthy ban by doing this, creating a sock account. And you're now a subscriber, by the way, so you've de facto given me money. Truth equals ban. Yes, exactly. That's how we do it. Take a second off, bitch.
Given our opinions.
We also have a vision of America, which is supposed to be a restrained commander-in-chief. The founders came to, we're celebrating 250 years of American history. They came to this country, from where? From my old country, the UK, to get away from a mad king, not to recreate a mad king.
Okay, so we can get past this. I mean, when maybe the next time we'll do the podcast, we'll do it in Cuba or Venezuela, just for the sake of what we'll enjoy ourselves with. Anyways, let me get to the next story with you. By the way, Mamdani Spencer.
Alvay's trying to top you in sub count. They're getting dangerously close. Hey, yo, chill. Subscribe now. We cannot allow the sanctuary city of Alveus, sanctuary city for animals, to defeat us in the marketplace of subscriptions. Subscribe now.
Brad, what commonality do you see between the two of them?
Very little.
Very little.
Very little.
Tell me why.
Because I know this is argument that says all of these candidates who make a lot of noise, do well on social media, are similar. But I think people have underestimated what Mamdani is. Mamdani, yes, is charismatic, had a great social media game. I interviewed his team that made his social videos. Great people, smart people. The video he did where he jumped into the water, freezing cold, to show freeze the rents. The video he did for halal.
You're saying Mamdani or
Mamdani. I'm just talking about his campaign was brilliant online. No doubt about it. The halal.
Maybe one of the best.
One of the best, yeah.
Maybe one of the best.
One of the best.
And the guy that
came out of nowhere, 1%.
Yeah,
Polling
I agree.
1%.
I agree.
But what happened is a lot of Democrats took the wrong lesson from that. They said, this guy is so good on social media. We got to hire the same people who did his social media campaigns. We got to do video. Did you notice after Mamdani won the primary, suddenly you saw all these congressional Democrats primaries walking down the same videos, same cutaways, same. And they think that's how you replicate Mamdani. They misunderstand. Mamdani, yes, the social media game helped him get his message across, helped him get the youth out. But at the core of Mamdani was a very clear message. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to compare him to Trump right now.
Be careful.
I'm going to compare him to Trump. Donald Trump, I asked this question to everyone. I can't get fired. So
you're a capitalist. You're free.
I'm free. 2016, I say this to everyone I talk to about politics. I said, tell me. I say this to leftists. I say this to liberals. I say this to Muslims. I say this to non-Muslims. Tell me what Donald Trump's 3 main policies were in 2016.
What was it?
You tell me, what was his slogan? Do you remember what Donald Trump, what did he run on? When he first ran, what did he run on?
Get rid of these rapists and all this stuff.
Ban Muslims, build a wall. Remember that? That was all his big lines.
Build a wall is one. Yeah.
So we remember all those slogans.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Do you remember what Hillary Clinton's lines were? No.
I'm for her, and that's about it.
No.
First female president.
But her own slogan, which
Yeah.
she had a great, 77-page childcare proposal, I'm sure. I'm sure it's better than Trump's. But people don't campaign like that. And I think what Mamdani did is, even now, you ask me, what is our Mamdani run on? Okay, freeze the rents, free buses, free childcare. It was message discipline around a set of policies that people identified with, that helped with this ridiculous affordability
right.
crisis, that made him seem like he was in touch. And I think
This is what I try. This is why I try to force candidates into doing this.
if Democrats only take away, or people in the media only take away from Mamdani that, the guy's slick, he smiles well, Trump loves him, he does great social videos.
You don't
That's a
think Pratt has
mistake.
that?
I don't think, what's Pratt's main policy platform that's going to get people out for him?
Kill the homeless. Melt the homeless. Melt the homeless. Throw them in a vat of acid. And anyone that might look homeless even. Did I win that? Did I get it right?
The fires, homelessness.
Everyone says they want to deal with that. That's
Yeah,
nothing
but
unique.
that's because that's
The
what's
guy is a
happening in
reality
LA.
TV star. I'm not a fan of reality TV stars running for president. I wrote a piece saying Oprah should not run for president years ago. Although I have said Jon Stewart should run in a
Do you
primary.
think
just for
Spencer
fun.
Pratt stands a chance?
Yes. Because
He does.
Because America's up right now.
You think Spencer Pratt stands a chance?
Donald Trump is president of the United States twice. I'm never going to rule out anything in this country. I thought Trump wouldn't win in 2016. That's how dumb I was in 2016. That's why
Let alone
I don't do
2024.
predictions anymore. No, 24. I said he would win, and I said he's going to win, and he's going to be a fascist.
When did you say he'd win in 24? When
All of 24, I spent.
Patrick Bet David posted a video excited about the numbers from Backrooms and even knows how it started. He had to grok it. Some film criticism from Patrick Bet David. Just got done watching the Backrooms. Budget 10 million. Gross 140 million. 14x. Director Kim Parsons, 20-year-old. Obsession. Budget 750K. Gross 150 million. Director Curry Barker, 26-year-old. Mandalorian.
So we just got done watching the movie Backrooms. What a weird movie. Crazy movie. For 2 hours, I'm thinking, what happened?
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a joke. This is a joke. He doesn't make this. He makes this to f with people, right? Like it says the future looks bright under the brim too. And in reverse. Oh my God. Stop. Stop. There's no way. There's no way this is real. Bro, this is elite satire. This is elite satire. Please stop. What the? I have never seen uglier merchandise. I've never seen uglier merchandise in my life, dude.
Why is this lady glitching? You go through that wall. All these hotels I've stayed at, you're now thinking about.
No, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, I slandered Teddy Fresh, but this is worse than Teddy Fresh. We have officially found merchandise that's literally worse than Teddy Fresh. Okay, straight up. It's not saying much because this is the worst thing I've ever laid eyes on. So it is remarkable in and of itself.
About these rooms. And this guy, Kane Parsons, 20 years old as a director, $10 million is what the movie costs. It makes $140, $150 million. Then you have Obsession. This guy, 26-year-old director with $750,000 makes a movie that does $150 million, 200x on your money. And in Mandalorian, that's supposed to be this big project, $300 million investment, doesn't even make $300 million. 2 weeks later, it's at 240 right now. So amateurs built the Ark, professionals built the Titanic, and Hollywood's got massive disruption, and it's being done by young, ambitious creatives. Can you imagine what the future of Hollywood could look like? I think Kane was the one that, based on a meme that came out in late 2019, 2020, takes that, makes a video on his own, gets 7.9 million views. That same video today has 79 million views. And if you've seen Backrooms, I don't know if maybe you got the entire theme and you know what the story's all about. It is a horror movie, but a very, very weird movie. Very weird movie.
Dude, I can listen to this guy talk about movies forever. I take it back.
My son loves horror movies, so I got to go watch it with him. But I'm excited. I'm excited about the future of Hollywood. with young men and women taking over simply because they have access to something called YouTube for free. Isn't that amazing? I'm inspired by this. Wanted to share it with you.
Okay, this goes back to him being a numbers guy. Every piece of art critique coming from Patrick Bet-David is about performance, is about the numbers. I know you like a number. God, he's so awesome.
An Order 24 warning.
Got it.
I said, get rid of Biden.
So
I said, Carlin needs to change her
think,
performance.
You think this is the new era? You think that this is the new era of types of people that run for president, which before used to
is
be
not good.
general, military, all this stuff?
Yeah,
now
I don't think it's a good thing. And I wrote this piece when they were thinking about Oprah. Do you remember a few years ago, people were pushing Oprah Winfrey's name? And I wrote a piece for The Intercept saying, come on, no, let's not go down this road. I do think you need politicians.
I think Mehdi Hasan's biggest weakness is that he tries to always be consistent. Or rather, he thinks his opposition cares about his consistency. Like, that's the reason why he's bringing up the Oprah thing, where he's like, see, I even said Oprah shouldn't run for office. And it's like, dude, the guy in front of you doesn't understand basic concepts. Like, you don't have to literally engage in the ass covering of being like, see, I'm legit. Like, it's so funny. Like you have your integrity. I believe you. You don't have to literally defend it. Okay. His problem is that he thinks liberalism can be consistent. Yeah. Patrick Bet-David doesn't understand object permanence. You don't have to literally be like, see, I said Oprah shouldn't run. And then he even qualifies and says, well, maybe I thought Jon Stewart should run. It's like, that's too much. That's too much. You with anti-Semitism, though, unironically, no, that's not the same at all. Because hyper-focusing on, or rather, casting aside anti-Semitism as a non-issue gives ground to people on our side to believe that, yes, it is Jews potentially. Okay? That's the problem. I don't do it because I think my opposition will be like, well, he said he's not an anti-Semite, so he's actually, I now I'm going to actually think whether or not he's an anti-Semite or not. Why question marks is the repetition I'm talking about? No. The reason why I bring up anti-Semitism as a separate issue is literally because if I don't do that, I worry that other people will then hyper-focus on it because it's a much easier argument to understand. It's a much easier argument for the average American to believe that like Jews are magical money people that are literally dominating the financial sector, dominating Hollywood, and dominating the American media, and dominating the American government, and they're doing this for their Jewish purposes and all this shit. Okay? It's much easier to teach someone to be anti-Semitic, especially when virtually every institution is leaning into those conspiracies, whether willingly or inadvertently, than it is to teach people to be anti-Zionist from a principled framework, from an anti-genocide framework, from an anti-fascist framework. Will you talk about the elephant in the room? What's the elephant in the room?
With charisma. And that's why people think of Hollywood stars. That's why someone like, I love Jon Stewart. I would love Jon Stewart to run in a primary just to shake things up.
He'd be fun.
I don't think he'd be a great president, but I think him running would just add to the race. But my biggest problem is I take politics seriously. To go back to, I've been studying, I've been a political journalist for 25 years.
This is your sport.
I did politics at university. I did politics at high school. I do debate. I take this shit seriously. And it annoys me when, look at Donald Trump. What did he say yesterday? I'm bored. I'm bored of the Iran negotiations, like a freaking child, right? You cannot have people who are unserious people.
You can't help yourself, can you, with Trump?
I can't. Unserious people in charge of our countries.
Have you ever met him, by the way?
No.
You've never met?
I've never met Donald Trump, no. No, should I go to a White House briefing?
No, I'm just trying to see if you've ever met him.
Should I go to a White House briefing and try and get called on by Caroline Levitt?
Did you?
I got a few questions.
Did you meet Biden?
Did I meet Biden? I'm trying to think. I was in an event with Biden. I don't think I met him. But
Obama?
No, he was before my time. I arrived at the end of his presidency.
Did you interview?
I was in a room with Obama. I interviewed a lot of his people, Ben Rhodes, a lot of people around him.
Not him.
Not the president.
Okay,
the president gave me an interview. Then I was out. Yeah, no.
Got it. Surprised you've never met Trump.
No.
Would you want to meet him?
I'm a journalist. How would I not want to meet him? I'd love to interview.
What would you ask him? What 3 questions would you ask him? You sat with him. What do you ask him?
I mean, I'd only get 3 because he'd walk out after 3.
You think he would?
Oh, he's super thin-skinned.
You think he would want?
Look, he gets upset with like, I regard American interviewers to be softball interviewers. I'm from the UK where we do tough interviews. My biggest criticism of the American media is weak-ass interviews. Norah O'Donnell barely asked him anything the other day. The guy had a meltdown. He's like, "You're so rude. You're so rude. You're so disgusting. He just can't handle. He's got such a thin skin. He's the whiniest leader we've ever had."
Asked about, if I'm not mistaken, he asked about the guy's letter.
Yes.
That had to do with rape and pedophilia and something like that.
Yeah.
She started with, and you could tell she was nervous when she asked the question.
This is CBS. This is now in the can for Trump. Let's not forget.
Sure.
This is the guy who says, "Be quiet, piggy," to reporters. He can't handle tough
So what
questions.
do you ask him? You got 3 questions. What do you ask him?
I would ask him, I wouldn't ask him opinion questions. It annoys me when people say, "What do you think, Mr.?" He loves that shit. I would ask him fact questions about what is happening in the world. I would ask him, it depends on the day, right? If I'm interviewing him right now, I would say to him, you said, my opening question would be, you said a few weeks ago that people say Donald Trump's going to get bored of this war. I don't get bored, you said. And yesterday you said, I'm bored of this war. How do you explain that? That would be my first question later on.
What else?
I would say to him, are you out of your depth in this conflict? And I would give it the evidence as to why he's out of his depth and ask him to deal with each of those examples. For example, the Strait of Hormuz. For example, the Gulf countries. I also wouldn't be able to resist having some fun. I always think someone should ask Donald Trump. I would love for someone at a White House briefing to stand up and ask something that completely exposes this man's pig ignorance of the world. I would love someone to stand up and say, Mr. President, when will you be going to Wakanda? They are building a Trump Tower there and they love you in Africa. And he would say, I love them too. Because he doesn't know that Wakanda is a fictional country.
You think he would say that?
Oh my God. Not only is Mehdi right, Patrick loved it. God damn it. God damn it. You know he's stupid. Patrick, you know your boy is dumb as bricks, bro. That's crazy.
110%.
You think he would say that?
I would pay money to any White House correspondent watching. They get fired on the spot by the network.
It's obvious. Do you put him as an intelligent man? You put him
What's
as
your depends how you define intelligence.
Well, how do you-
like street smart, getting ahead, getting his way? Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. Like he wouldn't be able to get where he got to. if he wasn't.
he's probably not a well-read guy in your eyes.
That's an understatement. I think he's one of the most ignorant people I've ever come across. You seen the latest stuff? He keeps being like, I called them Democrats. You have to take the B off of dumb. Most people don't know that dumb has B on it. No, most people do know that. You probably just discovered that there's a B on dumb. You know, there's a Trump tick. I watch him so much. Whenever he says most people didn't know this, it means he just discovered something himself 2 minutes ago.
You literally think he just discovered how to spell dumb?
I know it. And talk to the people who worked with him. We're second-term Trump, Patrick. I don't have to make this stuff up.
Yeah.
Dozens of people have now left the administration, have told their stories, and it's all the same thing. The guy is an egomaniac. The guy is vain. The guy is dumb. The guy changes his opinion based on the last person he spoke to.
This is a guy that won in business. This is a guy that
He didn't
won
win in
media.
business.
This
5
is a
bankruptcies
guy-
in a row. You're more
This is a-
successful than
this
he
is-
is.
This is a guy that took a show
in
from
business.
0 to
He's not
1,
Steve
15
Jobs,
years.
for
This is
God's
a guy,
sake.
dude, the guy won
Oh,
presidency 2
Apprentice?
times.
I give you apprentice.
2 times.
I give you apprentice.
See, I'm telling you, oh my God, we are peeling the layers of the onion of his mind. And yes, much like an onion, it might be a little smooth, but it's like he genuinely is like, no, you're a business guy. Everything is business. Everybody casino, everything computer, Donald Trump business. And when you're the big business guy, when you win the biggest business of all, which is the American presidency, you get to do whatever the fuck you want. I wonder how he treats his employees, honestly. With that mentality, holy shit. It's awesome. He truly is like, the presidency is the biggest business, and you've won that. You've won that seat of power, which means you can do whatever you want.
Apprentice, great reality TV star.
2 times.
Great. I'm not going to question his ability to run a reality TV star. I'm questioning his ability to run America.
How do you think about his kids? Do you give him compliment as a parent, as a father?
No. Have you read the stories about
You don't
his
think he's a
children?
good father? Why do you think his kids love him?
You think the kids love him?
You don't think they do?
I mean,
Why
if
do
you
think
read
they wanna be
some of
around him all the
the if you
time?
read some of the tabloids, well, money and power can be
You think that's
great.
the only reason? I know
Well,
a
if you
lot
read-
of billionaires that
again,
their kids don't want to be around him.
If you read the New York tabloid press that Trump was very friendly with, the kids didn't like him when he was young. They were annoyed that he was cheating on their parents, his respective mothers. Things changed. There's stories about him allegedly. It's denied.
There we
There's
go.
stories about allegedly him, slapping Don Jr. at college in front of his friends and all sorts of stories. I don't know if they're true or not, but this is what's reported. Tiffany Trump, he never
Coming
talks about.
from a Muslim and a Middle Eastern dude, what did our parents do to us when we were kids? Did you ever get slapped?
Of course.
Dude, are you like, you and I don't have the permission to say anything with that.
No,
so we got to change the subject.
Withdraw that.
Yeah, withdraw
He
that.
didn't go to his son's. He didn't go to his son's wedding so he could do troll posts about Ro Khanna. Ask
Nah, I
yourself
don't
that
think he didn't
question.
go to the wedding because they had to go back for the war and everything that was going on.
Come on.
Question.
No, great.
When it comes down to Muslims, 2020 vote to 2024.
I love you.
Curious.
You did whatever you did.
Hang
You
on.
came back
You-
to
no,
Muslim.
you-
Why are you
you
obsessed
like-
with Muslims?
you like
Because you left
stats.
Iran?
I want to give
no,
you
I want to
stats.
know why you're obsessed with
I
Muslims.
want to give you stats.
You know there was a terrorist attack on a mosque recently.
I want to give
Did
you
that bother
stat.
you?
I want to
Patrick?
give you a stat.
Did that bother you?
Can I, Mehdi, invite me to your show. I'll
Oh,
answer
I'm
questions
inviting
for
you after
So
this.
here we go.
Sure.
So
you've all heard
When-
it. He said to invite him, Rob. You heard it. Everyone on YouTube heard it. I'm inviting you to a
okay,
show.
all right, so here
I got
we
a lot
go.
of questions for you.
2020, Biden had 69% of Muslim votes.
Yes.
Trump had 24%. 2025, Kamala dropped the Democrat vote from 69 to 50%. Trump went from 24 to 31%. Third party got 12% and increased by 9%. Why did Muslims become Republicans?
Gaza.
Gaza.
There are other issues too. The bathroom transgender issue in places like Michigan. A lot of conservative Arab Muslims didn't like that.
No.
They don't like that was happening even before Gaza.
No,
doubt.
it's Gaza, man. Come on. Conservative or not, Muslims, first of all, Muslims are nowhere near as conservative as evangelical white Christians are. And evangelical white Christians are obviously far larger in numbers and have a far more outsized level of influence in American politics. But Muslims overwhelmingly voted for, or the Muslims that did actually vote for Trump overwhelmingly voted because at the time, the Democrats were the ones responsible for the genocide. Yeah. Plenty of them just didn't vote. But it's Gaza, 100%.
Not about that. But it was still a kind of fringe issue. What made it an
You
issue
said
in the
the
Muslim community?
the LGBT.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there were conservative Arab
Yeah, yeah,
communities
yeah.
in Dearborn who were like,
And
we don't
I'm
want
glad
this.
you brought that up.
We don't want this. And they
Yep.
brought that up. That was
Yep.
before Gaza. There's no
I'm
debate.
glad you brought that up because although I also, as a numbers guy, don't like the transgenders, I am now going to cynically talk about how the Muslims are barbaric for not liking the transgenders. That's the other thing. Yeah, that's why I said I'm glad you brought that up. These guys always are like, yeah, I think trans people should be forcibly detransitioned. And then they'll turn around and be like, and you know, this is why Muslims are bad because they're against the transgenders. It's like, well, you're against the transgenders. Is it only bad when it's when it plays a role in your argument that Muslims are an anti-progressive force? You're an anti-progressive force.
Some were shifting already to the Republican Party.
Sure.
But they were a tiny minority. The vast majority of Muslims still voted. Democrats still supported, still understood. The Republican Party is Islamophobic. White supremacist adjacent party right
You think
now.
number
has
one
Randy
reason is
Fine in it.
You think number one reason why they vote the other
Gaza
side
by
is
a
because
mile.
of Israel?
10 miles.
Okay.
Gaza. No, not Israel. The Gaza genocide. You have to understand, I spoke to a lot of these people. I traveled through
Yep.
all these communities in 2024.
Yep.
And I tried to point out, yes, Biden and Harris are complicit in a genocide. No one's defending the Democrats. I was very critical of the Democrats and what they did between 2023 and 2024. But Trump will be worse or as bad. He's not going to be better. And people bought the Trump shtick. No, he's anti-war. He didn't start any new wars. He's not interested in the Middle East. He's friends with MBS. He's friends with Erdogan. It's going to be great. I met Palestinians who told me Trump will be better on Gaza. He's transactional president. They bought that shit. Look at him now. Look how many Arab countries have been bombed. But Muslims were not voting for Trump as a whole. You mentioned third party too. Jill Stein picked up a lot of votes in some places. Not as many as people thought she would.
12%.
Of Muslim votes, yes.
Yeah.
So in certain places. So
Majority was like.
Okay, I think I'm gonna keep it $1.50. I have to show you guys something. I think there are a bunch of quote unquote anti-capitalist accounts, a bunch of anti-capitalist accounts that have been paid by either like Zionists directly or either paid by Zionists directly or like are being paid by the lobby potentially. Okay? Look at this. Look at this. This is an account called Question Everything. Okay? I just saw this on my timeline. Guy follows me, 17,000 followers, end capitalism. The change we really need will never be on any ballot, anti-electoralist, ultra. Okay? You scroll down and they're like, obviously talking shit about a bunch of people, right? Ostensibly an anti-capitalist account, supposedly pro-Palestine. shitting on, a Zionist account of Zionist account questioning whether or not like dog rape happened. Okay. Then you keep scrolling down. Fuck the police, hashtag ACAB. Crickets from Hasan Piker D on Adam Smith and Krishama Sawant, right? Keep scrolling. Diddy Piker D calling everyone Diddy is gold. Reposting Dan Saltman. Now here's the question. Question everything. How the did you find yourself as an anti-Zionist? Yeah, I saw it and I immediately bookmarked it because I was like, how did you find yourself as an anti-Zionist supposedly reposting one of the biggest Zionists on Twitter? The ultras are aligning with Stalkman and the Latin American food. Very strange. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. No. There's no way. This guy's highest priority is supposed to be like shitting on people who are. This guy's highest priority is supposed to be shitting on people who are pro-Israel. Look, reposting. Now that Hasan himself has been subpoenaed and banned from the UK, he sure likes to fantasize about suing others and limit free speech. His understanding of defamation and the law is kind of childish too. Reposting some guy who's like responding to Oct 2000. Explain what you think their rationale is. I think they're 100%. I think they're getting either paid, either they're like unbelievably delusional, or they're just straight up getting paid to go after prominent critics of Israel, but as an anti-Zionist. Positioning themselves as an anti-Zionist and then straight up getting paid by maybe Dan Saltman or maybe other Zionist groups to make it seem like there's a better method of combating the Israeli influence in the United States of America. And that's what it is. Like, how does a guy who's like question everything, how does a guy like this that spends a good deal of time talking about Israel-Palestine, how does a guy like this find a Dan Stalkman post to boost to his, marginal audience with the Palestinian flag in his profile? Could be a bad Empanada fan, but again, a bad Empanada fan, what has bad Empanada been focusing on? What has he been focusing on? All of his enmity, all of his anger and resentment has been directed at left content creators. Content creators on the left who he considers to be not going far enough on criticisms of Israel. What is this? Yeah, his mom scolded him for being big time for being mean to Joe Biden. Crystal ball. I think guys like this have to be getting paid, right? If they're doing this for free, that's pathetic. What is this? MLK Jr. writing about Piker, Kasparian, Cedar, Kulinski, Crystal Ball, the white moderate who is more devoted to order than justice. I don't know, man. Some of these accounts are a little suspicious.
My bigger picture is every time I said to someone,
kind of reminds me of how they tried to call the last attempt at Trump a Hasanabi head. This account, wait, that account did? No. That guy reposted a tweet about you from November 19th, 2025, 3 days ago. No, the other guy's account.
Trump is going to be worse than Harris. They said legitimately to me, but we have to punish the Democrats. That was the line. We have to punish the Democrats. They can't be seen to get away with a genocide. And when you say Kamala dropped it to 50, well, Joe Biden dropped it to 50. Harris kept it at 50 by not distancing herself from Biden. Her biggest single mistake was going on The View, and my friend Sunny Hostin said to her, what will you do differently to Joe Biden? And she said, nothing. And the minute she said that, I knew she's lost. But that was it. Until then, I had some hope. She could beat him. She was leading in the polls after the convention.
Is this the worst candidate you've ever seen on the left? In our lifetime? This is your sport.
I don't think she's as bad as people thought she was. I think she was definitely handed a
Who's
poison
been
chalice.
worse than her on the left?
But who's ever had a 100-day campaign? Like she got a
107 days.
shitty legacy. Let's just be fair to her, right? If we're going to be fair, we should be fair that she got a shit. Joe Biden should not have been in the race until July of 2024.
No,
that was insane.
I'm with you on that one.
She then got
You saw when
coronated.
Joe Biden came out and said, you know,
What a load of bullshit from Joe Biden. She's like, oh, I thought he had a stroke that night. No, you didn't.
and then the video says, oh, Joe, you did so good.
Yeah,
You
we saw
answered
you that
every-"
night.
Yeah.
If you thought you had a stroke, why didn't you call the White House doctor? Bullshit, but rewriting of history. I did a video that night after the debate in my basement, in my home studio. I got attacked for it by some people saying Biden needs to stand down. It's ridiculous. And I still think Trump should stand down. He's also got mental issues. But Harris was a good candidate for a very short period. She had all this momentum. You know, the honeymoon period. Americans love rehabilitation. You give somebody a chance. She comes in, she gets a boost. She runs this, I'm Joy. Remember that? Goes to the convention. I was at the convention. It felt like a freaking party. I remember a member of Congress was there.
As if it's already
A Democratic member of Congress said to me, this is bad. We have not won. This is way too early. There's a member of Congress said this to me, a lefty. And I remember sitting there watching, oh, Beyonce is going to be here. It wasn't Beyonce, it was Leon Panetta. But anyways, bizarre. We come out of that convention, and then she starts tacking to the right. She starts saying all this shit about, what was it? Oh, they were shutting down Lena Khan, the antitrust stuff. She had Mark Cuban, Liz Cheney campaigning for her. She campaigned more with Liz Cheney than with AOC and Bernie, right?
By the way, that was horrible move.
Insane.
Horrible move.
It didn't win over anyone.
Did you think that was a good idea?
No, I said at the time. At the time, I said, these people are not going to switch over. Olivia Troy, who's a good friend of mine, former Trump official turned never Trumper, she was part of that. And she admits now, I've interviewed her. She says, yeah, we tried, but we thought there'd be like this massive conservative women that would come over.
How much
and they
money
didn't.
did they raise? 2.1. What was the number? 1.5 billion or 2. That's a big number.
It was a lot.
Yeah. But so you
But she also had her brother-in-law, by the way. There's a lot of reporting that suggests Kamala's brother-in-law, her sister's husband, I think it's Tony West is his name, big Uber lobbyist. He was pushing her to drop all the affordability, good stuff, drop the ads. There was poll testing
some
done.
controversy with him as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
Tony
know.
West.
But the affordability agenda that she dropped, she should have gone economic populist, right? She did not go economic populist. Instead, she campaigned with a billionaire and with a war criminal. And I think that was a huge problem. And then she went on The View and said, no change. This is a change election. You can't go into change elections. I'm not going to do anything different from the guy who's going out. It was just
So you think, okay, so go to 28.
But she could have won, by the way. He didn't win a landslide. Trump lied his ass off.
What do you mean she could have won? She lost every single state, 7 states.
Have you looked at the numbers? In the 3 key swings.
She helped more counties become Republican in America.
Have you looked at the numbers? If 115,000 people had voted differently, she would be president. That's what it came down to in our ludicrous system. She lost by 1.5 percentage points. One of the narrowest. He got one of the narrowest wins in modern American history. You know that, right? I know he lies, and people like you give him credit. He lies. He says, I won a landslide. He won one of the worst. You can pull it up, Rob. I wrote a piece for The Guardian with all the receipts.
Every county became more Republican
pull up my piece.
in America.
Pull up my piece.
Every
Guardian,
county
2024 Mehdi landslide. Type it out.
Can you please send this chart to this man here?
Pull it up.
He's the Muslim community is
Mehdi Hasan
becoming
in the
more
Guardian.
Republican.
As we move closer to Game 3 of the NBA Finals on Monday night, Madison Square Garden, the United States Secret Service want to help ensure a safe and enjoyable experience for all ticket holders by sharing important security procedures that will be in place. A strict no bag policy will be in effect, and fans should make every effort to limit personal items to an absolute minimum. Fans should expect enhanced security measures when entering Madison Square Garden, including TSA-style screening procedures. Guests are strongly encouraged to arrive at least 2 hours before tip-off to allow additional time for screening and entry. He's a bad empanada fan. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's just straight up doing bad faith. Is Bad Empanada working with Sex Pestiny? I genuinely think he is. I think he might have just totally switched sides at this point. He just despises, he pulled remember when Glenn Greenwald hated liberals so much that he just basically became a Republican? I think he's actually doing that now. He hates other anti-Zionists so much. He thinks Adam Hamawi is not pro-Palestine. I think he might be getting paid. Not this guy. I'm talking about Bad Empanada, and his fan base is stupid enough to go along with it. Look at Bad Empanada's video history. He started punching right and got a solid base, and it was 1 in 5 punching left, and 2 in 5. Now it's all punching left. increasingly believe is a plant. I think so too. A Mehdi endorsement is how you know it's actually not a huge win for the pro-Palestine movement. You know who's a real hero for the Palestinian cause? Not an anti-Zionist who's being smeared as an Al-Qaeda operative who literally went to Gaza and saved lives in Gaza. A weirdo Cypriot Australian who moved to Argentina, who makes YouTube videos yelling about everyone who is insufficiently pro-Palestine. Yeah. That's who the... In order for someone to be sufficiently anti-Zionist, you have to be a repulsive freak who constantly yells at other anti-Zionists for not being sufficiently anti-Zionist. You want to watch how slop-brained Bad Empanada is? He literally said you were spreading Jewish conspiracy theories when you were talking about the Jewish Insider. Wait, what? Is he also making anti-Semitism accusations? No, there's no way. I think he chose the opposite lane of that on that conversation. What the? Yeah, didn't this guy literally do a video about GDF's like anti-Semitism back in the day? He's an opportunistic hater and not people say anything. He believes in nothing. He called Mike an anti-Semite last year. I don't think he is a Fed. I think he's having a ContraPoint moment. Being too online fried his brain. I used to like him, but he got obsessed with you and it was off-putting. Bad Empanada just farms left to drama because he realized that's the most low-effort way he can farm an audience. He tried to promote Maureen Galindo, but was talking about being an army wife. Exactly what he complained about Plattner and was pushing for her. What the? I've never said that Bad Empanada is a op. I've always said he's crazy, but I always thought he was sincere and unhinged. But lately, I'm beginning to change my attitude on it. I no longer think he's sincere. I think he's bad. I mean, he's totally bad faith, and not just like, oh, he's bad faith because he's insane. Like bad faith because I think he's like actively trying to. I think he's actively trying to cause chaos within any kind of like online organizing surrounding anti-Zionism.
Look,
Patrick,
which is great.
Patrick, will you give me permission to read from your screen?
Go for it.
Can we scroll down?
Yes.
This is a great moment for me, taking over your show. Scroll down. Keep going.
And there are still people who always... No, there's still always going to be people who, because he uses the right language, and there are always going to be people who want something more radical. That there are always going to be people in this community that go, no, I think he's fine. I think he's just fine. He's just a little mean. He's just a little mean. Buddy, if you're talking about a doctor that went to Gaza and you're saying that a doctor that went to Gaza to save lives is actually not a real anti-Zionist, you're out of your mind. You know, what have you done? You've done nothing. You've literally done nothing. He said his approach is Sinwarian, which is absurd since Sinwar's whole thing was uniting different factions. Yeah, what the Bad Empanada. See, and then there's the stupid people. Chat feels like IDF signifier. Get your American heads out of your American asses. Bad Empanada applies agitated propaganda as he sees fit. Dog, you know what's really funny about this? Bad Empanada used to always say, like, my fans are a part of a cult. You're literally a part of a cult. Okay? You're straight up a part of a cult. I don't know what it is about, like, left position, left, like, ideological tendencies, like, different ideological tendencies, but it's always strange because, like, there's always people like that. There's the Larishites, there was the Black Hammer cult, right? I usually have a pretty good nose. Regardless of my naivete, I have a fairly decent nose at, like, cultish behavior and cultish thinking, and this is turning into a cult. Not really, dude. I'm just tired of American exceptionalism. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. American exceptionalism. Bro, his impact is marginal. You give him more attention than he deserves. It distracts your community from actually doing organizing and focusing on stupid Twitter beefs. Yeah, no, these are like the shining path guys. This is how you end up radicalizing yourself into, like, believing in Lyndon LaRouche or the Shining Path or Bob Avakian's Revolutionary Communist, that kind of thing. The U.S. is the source of all of this, as you know, and your working classes are not organizing. Yeah, which pales in comparison to what you're doing here, which is to constantly chirp. Like, what do you mean? What's the goal here? Do you think you can get every one of the labor aristocracy to like successfully kill themselves or something? Because if that's your goal, you're trying, it's not going to work. But like, what is your solution? It's nothing. You're just posting. You're saying posting is praxis. But at least if you're going to do posting as praxis, you might as well post in the most unhinged ways possible. If we're both posting, you're just posting more repulsive style. That's it. You're not going to post your way to communism. You're not going to post your way into building any sort of robust anti-imperialist movement. Like, you're chirping about FD signifier in my chat. FD signifier. Is that the revolutionary praxis? Complaining about FD signifier in another Twitch streamer's chat? Go organize then, dumbass. The fuck are you talking about? I don't understand. What's the goal here? I once pushed back politely on him going after you got kicked out of the NCI and I got banned, hit him from his comment section for being too much of a fan of you. He calls anyone who disagrees with him his fans and he are lame as yeah. No, but I'm tired of everyone calling Bad Empanada a maniac when he's just tired of your antics. Oh, brother. My antics, dude. I know. When I inevitably go to federal prison, you'll find a way to justify that too. It's actually deep undercover, right? My antics. Clearly, people in positions of power see what I'm doing to be a significant enough threat because they don't think that just simply chirping about other anti-Zionists on the internet and anti-Zionist content creators not being sufficiently anti-Zionist is probably not the revolutionary praxis that you think is disruptive, okay? You're failing to comprehend. What Bad Empanada is doing is unprincipled. It's nothing. It's irrelevant. And not only is it irrelevant, unprincipled, and nothing, it's actually deluding a bunch of other people into participating in this cultish way. Okay? I'm sure there's plenty of fans of mine that would follow me in a similar cultish manner to whichever ideological tendency I go to, but I'd probably lose a fuck lot more if I just stopped advocating for the things that I'm advocating for. If I no longer believe the same things, because people come in here to like hear a different perspective. Okay? But they're here for the politics to a certain degree and the entertainment as well. You are just fighting another YouTuber's battles right now on the internet on a Twitch streamer's chat. Do you feel like this is advancing some kind of cause? Do you feel like this is advancing some kind of cause? Do you feel like Bad Empanada is a figure that has actually shown so much, that has been so impactful in his advocacy, in his organizing, that you feel like he is a figure worthy of defending right now? Like, which one of the last, I don't know, couple of weeks' antics do you think was worthwhile? Okay? Which one of the antics? Was it the efficacy around the deploying the term Zog slave? Was that the productive organizational principles that he was advocating for? Was that what it was? Was it saying Adam Hamawi, a doctor that went to Gaza, is actually not sufficiently anti-Zionist because Mehdi Hasan said he's you know, an important voice against advocacy against Israel, someone who just got elected, who's being called a Al-Qaeda terrorist right now for that reason? Or is it the 750 posts about Graham Plattner that are identical to the New York Times, one of the most Zionist newspapers of all time, using a smear piece from one of the most Zionist newspapers out there? Or do you think it's when he talks about murdering Zoran in the streets, or even murdering me in Cuba, like when he jokes about stuff like that? I know he's joking, but do you think his antics are good? Are his antics revolutionary praxis as opposed to my antics are bad? Can you explain to me which of those things are worthy of not only defending, but also defending so much? Oh, no, his antics are extremely aggro. Oh, okay. I'm asking you seriously, where is the productive discourse? Where's the productive discourse? I know you said you don't like debates and whatnot, but you are in here debating at the behest of Bad Empanada. Where is the meat of the argument that you think is so worthy of defending? That you are so parasocially defending your favorite YouTube streamer? Not only are you parasocially defending your YouTube streamer, but you're also following along with his campaign to call out other content creators and call them IDF signifier or whatever the. Notice how this conversation is entirely about drama. These guys genuinely, I think, a lot of people. He's also not a comrade. For example, the UK ban. Yeah, the fact that Mohammed El Kurd was allowed in, but not Cenk Uygur or Hasan Piker makes the game clear. They want to bring attention to centrists and frame them as radicals. Actual radicals are being allowed to speak, no problem, but they'll get no attention. Yeah, I'm not going to... I speak to Mohammed. It's clear that Bad Empanada doesn't. I'm not going to reveal anything more than that. I don't think Mohammed would agree with that. No, he's saying Mohammed El Kurd is more radical than me, and therefore he was allowed entry into the country, and I wasn't because they're trying to... It doesn't even make sense, guys. It doesn't make any sense. They're trying to say that... He's trying to say that the UK banned me from entering the country, so there's like more attention towards me and not more radical speakers like Mohammed El Kurd, right? And it's just conspiratorial, delusional thinking. They're trying to say like, oh, these guys are actively trying to make Hasan the face of the pro-Palestine movement because he's a centrist in comparison to Mohammed El Kurd or other people. Okay, so why did they ban others as well? What's the Palestinian soccer reporter who started reporting for Dropsite who was in Gaza? Why did they ban him then? Was he not radical enough? Yeah. Actually, his visa was revoked to frame him as a radical. It's an op. Mohammed El Kurd got in, no problem. I saw this when he said it. Like, he genuinely is insane. And it's kind of stupid, too. He's, like, remarkably stupid. He's very well read. But I think his mental illness sometimes stops his brain from functioning appropriately. It's not dissimilar to assuming that the New York Times report on Graham Plattner was also an op to boost Graham Plattner. Because deep down inside, they know that he's secretly going to be a reliable vote for Israel. Okay? Do you understand? Yes, dude. It's literally just D-logic, but leftist coded. Idiotic shit. Can never be correct or valid. You are always the op. Exactly. No matter what evidence is suggested to the contrary, no matter how hard Zionist advocacy groups go after me, there's always a hidden underlying thing because the highest priority for Bad Empanada has become the exact same thing for Destiny. That's why they always work backwards from that highest priority, and that is Hasan is bad. Okay? That's literally it. I don't know what causes people to behave this way. It's got to be something I'm doing. Maybe it's the algorithms that benefit it and people slowly but surely, especially content creators, because this doesn't happen in the real world, but it does happen to content creators. I think the highest priority for a lot of these guys becomes, oh, if I say Hasan, I'll be able to draw people. I'll be able to gain attention and gain new followers. The algorithm will boost it. And then they work backwards from that position. I think that's what it is. It's additionally ironic because Bad Empanada saw this with his own two eyes and even wrote about it, right? He made a video about it. He joins the likes of D, Roach, and E, where Hasan Bad is a pillar for every take. Even when they're cornered, they just make shit up. Yeah, that way you can abdicate all responsibility from your personal actions or your personal inaction, right? Because at the end of the day, there's always a figure, a polarizing figure you can point to and go, well, he does something worse, right? I think that's what it is.
Keep going, keep going. Stop. So the former president's margin of victory over Harris is a minuscule 1.6 percentage point. Actually, it's 1.5. It went down after that. Smaller than that of every winning president since 1888, other than JFK and Richard Nixon. In fact, in the 55 presidential elections in which the popular vote winner became president, listen to this. Oh, your viewers are getting some good facts today. 49 of those 55 elections were won with a margin bigger than Donald Trump's in 2024. I hope the president is watching your show. I know he's a friend of his. He's coming on the show.
Can you do me a favor?
Donald Trump, you lost.
Can you show
you won with a
how many
49th
counties?
Who gives a about counties.
Won.
I'm showing you the margin of victory.
Dude, Mehdi.
He won by 1.5. You can raise your voice, but I've already done my receipts.
If there's anybody that has no
good.
room to say anything, look at this here.
My receipts are up.
Look at this here. You
Patrick,
run away. Look
I love
at
this
here.
You know, land
he
doesn't vote.
converted Muslims into Republicans.
Patrick, you know, land doesn't vote. I love these. I love these maps. That's land.
You showed us that.
Land doesn't vote.
Dude,
I gave you the numbers.
Muslims voted for him.
Still more for the Democrats.
No. Muslims went from 24% for Trump in 2020 to 31%.
Patrick, I'm not on the right.
He's winning your people over.
Patrick, and it kills me. Patrick, I'm not on the right. I'm not an election denier. Donald Trump won, but he didn't win 50% of the vote. You know, people say he won the popular vote. You know, he didn't win a majority of the votes. He's run in 3 elections.
I know that, but
you know he's run 3 elections.
You know who's the last
majority
Republican that has?
George W. Bush.
Yeah, it's the last one that did it. It's not a. That's not like oh my God, he didn't win the majority. You know.
But he hasn't. But he brags and says he does.
Yeah, but
he's never won a majority of the vote. Today he's polling in the 30s. He's lost, by the way, he's lost all that support from Latinos, young people, and Muslims. You accept that, right? That coalition he put together is gone now.
Yeah. So this the part where guys like you come out and they'll say what they'll say.
They'll say facts.
Did you see Did you see his endorsement? How they did? Did you see his endorsement? How they did? Everybody he picked. Did you see how many of them won?
Oh, in the primaries.
Yeah. Did you see?
Great news for Democrats.
Great news. Tell me
why. James Tallarico wants to run against Paxton or Cornyn?
I'm actually curious. Tell me why.
No, he picks horrible candidates. Remember, what was the Georgia candidate? They should have won Georgia and they lost. Who did they put up? Herschel Walker. Remember that? Remember Herschel Walker?
I remember.
Remember the dude in Alabama?
He had a hard time speaking.
Remember the dude in Alabama who was accused of child molestation that he denied? I can't remember his name. Alabama guy from his first term. He backed him. He lost.
Talk about now.
He picks.
Talk about
now.
Bad
117. Why would you back Paxton?
117.
Yeah, but why would you back Paxton? Let's just talk about the main.
Tell me why you. So you like establishment candidates like Cornyn, 40 plus years.
I hate John Cornyn. I hate Ken Paxton. But who would you want to run against? I want the Democrats to win the Senate, obviously, to save democracy.
So you think Tallarico does better with Paxton than he does with Cornyn?
You don't?
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
No, I ask you.
I 100% think he's going
to do better.
Well, the polls show he's doing better.
Yeah.
I mean, just trust the polls. He's leading in the polls.
So you think his power? By the way, do you guys in your family celebrate Pride Month?
Do we celebrate Pride Month?
Yeah, I mean,
what does
Pride
that mean?
Month. I'm just asking, like, do you have a way of celebrating Pride Month? Because Tallarico.
Not personally, but I support people who do. Do you see Mamdani yesterday?
No.
Interesting couple of posts. You know, he was like Muslim Sharia. He's an extremist.
What do you say?
People on your side. 9 a.m. he posts Happy Pride Month. Mayor of New York.
Yeah.
Midday, Happy Eid. Hosted Eid at Gracie Mansion. That's modern America. People that want to make this guy into some kind of extremist. You guys on your show. I see you getting worked up about prayers in New York. This guy. Zoran Mamdani.
You think okay, so by the way, I think Tallarico's formidable. It's not like I don't think he's formidable. I think he's a very good communicator. I think he's to be honest with you, I think he's a better version of Pete Buttigieg. I think he's a better version of Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
I think he's got a bigger upside than Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
So I think
he's very talented.
I think he's very talented.
I want to interview him again. He's a very, very good talker. His policies are good. Texas is difficult. My wife is from Texas. I spend a lot of time in Texas. I'm under no illusions. It's a difficult state to win, but it's not as red as Republicans want you to believe.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
And I think that they could have probably won with Cornyn, but I think now it's in play. And you have to ask, what is Donald Trump's political strategy? You know, Patrick, that every Republican senator is pulling their hair out wondering, what the hell did Donald Trump do here? He's now put the Senate in play in a way it wasn't in play before. Because even if Paxton wins Texas, they have to divert a bunch of resources from other states which need them more to protect him. That's the problem, strategically.
For Paxton or Tallarico?
For the Republicans trying to save their Senate majority, they're going to have to divert resources to
you know how much money
Texas.
they're going to spend on this?
Yeah, but it could have been spent elsewhere.
We're going to see the money going there in ways we've never seen
But it
before.
could have been spent elsewhere.
Could be. I mean, that's the part about...
They got a tough race in Michigan. They got a tough race all over.
By the way, just out of curiosity.
They're losing in North Carolina.
I'm curious what you're going to say with this. So out of curiosity, you have two people to choose as a candidate. One is a hardcore Republican, capitalist, pro-Trump guy who's a Muslim. Second one is a hardcore socialist, progressive, liberal who is a Christian. Which do you vote for?
Obviously, I vote for the person whose values and policies I support. I don't vote based on religion.
So you would vote for the second person?
Of course.
Because the values and principles.
Of course. I don't vote based on...
How is that shocking? Why would that be shocking? Who the would be like, oh, I'm voting for the Muslim every time? What the? How is that confusing?
Religion. Mehmet Oz ran against John Fetterman. He would have been the first Muslim senator. If Abdul El-Sayed pulls it off in Michigan, he will be the first ever Muslim member of the United States Senate in American history.
Yeah, we've never had one.
We never had one.
Yeah.
Mehmet Oz
We have
could have
5 congressmen.
Mehmet Oz could have been the first Muslim
But he would have
senator.
been a Republican.
Exactly, and his policies were horrible.
So for
His
you,
fealty to
that's a no-go.
Yeah, because I don't care. It would be nice
So
to
it's
say, hey,
policies
a Muslim
over
of
faith.
course. But then, by the way, who did I back against him? Literally the worst Democratic senator. He turned out to be John Fetterman. But let's put that to one side. But Mehmet Oz, yeah, I don't vote on religion. I think it's crazy if people vote on religion. You shouldn't vote on religion.
Okay, so
Muslims shouldn't vote for Muslims. Jews shouldn't vote for Jews. Christians vote. You should vote based on your policy platform, the principles and values.
Do you think we'll have
Muslims are not a monolith. I don't agree with all Muslims. You just mentioned some of them who vote for Trump.
Do you think long term America will be at a point where we'll have a Muslim governor or a Muslim president?
Muslim governor, I hope. Maybe Mamdani. He can't be president, right? So where does he go next after
Well, he
mayor?
could be governor.
He could be governor, he could be senator, right? He can't go anywhere else. Secretary of State, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He can't be president, sadly.
Not even
tragically.
VP, right? VP, you can't
No,
even be
because
VP.
you have to be-
So Speaker of the House, you could be.
Would you rather have a piece of toast with shit on it, but it's your favorite brand, or a peanut butter jelly sandwich, but it's made with Sara Lee bread? I'm going to get you on this. I'm a numbers guy. I'm going to get you on this, okay?
No, I think that if he chooses to go that route,
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Because
Can you
if
pull
because
that up,
Speaker
Rob?
of the House is third in line to the
I
presidency.
think you could be Speaker.
But then what if the president, vice
I know,
president, God forbid,
on
dies?
the same plane, but that's why they're not on the same flight when they go. You'll notice some of the stuff that they do.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question. If you're,
listen.
if you're ineligible from the presidency, can you be in the
Yes,
line of
the
succession?
Constitution does not require the Speaker of the House to be born in the U.S.
But
So,
it means they would have to skip past the speaker if something happened. to
yeah,
the
it would go to
president. Okay.
somebody else.
So he could run for Congress, be speaker, he could be whatever. So, but to come back to your question, yes, Muslim governor, I think hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
Inshallah, as Joe Biden
Inshallah.
might say. And president, I don't think for a while. Look, let's first get a woman president. This country is so behind the rest of the world. We haven't had a woman leader. Pakistan's had a woman leader.
He's such a freaking lib. I mean, I know he's angling it to talk about AOC probably, but even them, bro. New dump. Oh my God, big dookie dumps. Nithya Raman, new dump as of 2 minutes ago. Nithya Raman is closing the gap on Spencer Pratt at an exceptionally fast pace. Even bigger margin today. Another large drop moved sharply in her direction. Pratt's path was already very narrow, and this latest update may have made it even harder to see. What about Steyer? LA race. LA mayor. Oh my God. Oh my God. 26.2% to 27.3%. Oh my God, the mules. Oh my God, the mules, dude. Oh, the mules are kicking. It's diarrhea dumps. Oh, it's dookie time. Oh my, I think it's out. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it kind of feels like it might be done. Because at this rate, given the trend line so far with closer to E-Day votes now being counted, the closer you get to the E-Day, the higher the percentages are by wider and wider margins for Nithya Raman as opposed to Spencer Pratt. There are still likely a ton of votes left to count, and Steyer will likely finish within a point or two of Hilton. So yes, Katie Porter will probably end up being a spoiler, even if you split her votes evenly between Becerra and Steyer. Been sneaking Steyer votes up my ass. Steyer LA dumps. Oh, plus 9.5 for Steyer. Holy shit, dude. Everyone that was a Steyer Nithya Raman voter literally came in at the last moment to vote. Like, the closer it gets to E-Day, the more they vote, the more likely they are to vote for Tom Steyer and Nithya Raman. Katie Porter update? Yeah. I know. But I don't think Steyer is going to make it either. Yeah, I don't think it's looking too good for the Steyer bros. Steyer bros, it might be Jover. She made up 14,000 votes in just a 40K drop. There are 190,000 votes left, and she only needs 7,000. It's over. Pratt is cooked. I mean, if it keeps going the way that it has been going, yeah, it's over for it's over for Spencer Pratt. Turns out maybe it wasn't California. Actually, the Javier Becerra Tom Steyer race shows it is still California. LA County's update of 58,558 more votes in LA Mayor's race breaks 40% to Raman, 33 Bass, 17.7 Pratt, shaving another 13,178 votes from his lead for second place. Raman now trails by just 7,494 votes and will likely overtake Pratt with the next batch. If it keeps going at 10% of the pace it's been going, she wins. She's way ahead of what she needs to win at this pace, to be honest. Yeah. You are still too negative. Tom will win. Dude, Tom's margins are way gnarlier. Come on. Obviously, it's the governor's race, so there's a lot more votes to make up for, but his margins are not looking good, okay? Oh my God, should have been Ray. Dog, come on. Like, yeah, there's still more votes left to count, and Steyer will likely finish within a point or two of Hilton. Pratt is probably taking this really well and has no concerns about mules or mail-in ballots. Yeah, I want to know how Spencer Pratt is gonna view this possible loss. I mean, he's been talking about how he had this in the bag. With a 17-point net gain, Steyer hits exactly the benchmark he needs in Los Angeles to keep the race for second competitive. He needs similar number from Orange as well. Well, that's probably not going to happen, right? I can tell you exactly what's happening. The Supreme Court is going to declare late arriving mail-in ballots illegal this summer. That would be nutty. I hope you're not right. They're going to say something like election day is election day. If Nithya Raman versus Karen Bass, who wins, I think is a competitive race. But Nithya Raman has to literally get like a speech coach or something, like a debate coach. Because I was so nice. Like, obviously I had, some serious questions that I wanted to ask her. But that was like failing an open book test, you know what I mean? Like, there are obviously areas where she shines. Transit, and combating homelessness. But in a contentious environment, she clams up. And I'm not just saying that because Ryan Grimm just said she's taking pro-Israel money. Who is? Nithya Raman is? That'd be really funny. If she's currently taking she's taking pro-Israel money while simultaneously coming on my show is crazy. I'll look into it. Yes, he said it on Friday. On Breaking Points, I'll ask him about it. Spencer Pratt breaks silence in chilling response to LA fraud election theft. Evidence goes viral. Hashtag vote Pratt. Update. Hashtag save LA. By the way, I think it's pronounced Raman, not Ramen. No, I think it is Ramen. I thought it was Roman as well. Orange County drop. Steyer cooked. Is it over? Is it Jover? Steyer heads? Every day we have a dump day. We have a dump moment. Orange County drop. Orange County dumps. Santa Clara County 6-6 drop. Steyer at plus 10. Not even beating Becerra in Billionaire Row. Yikes. 5.9 in Orange County. That's good, right? Or is it not good? Steyer is still 300,000 votes away from second. How did Michigan's largest labor union endorse their actual working class candidate like Abdul, but we get the opposite with our unions? Don't even get me started. The orange drop is close to what he needs. Actually, you take his number and add it to Hilton. That's 13.4. That's just short of what he needs, but he's been overperforming in other places. This will be very close. Steyer's check to me bounced, so I didn't do my mule drop. Sorry, guys. Notice how besides Shoykot, it's the candidates that are not outspoken about the genocide who are lacking in these races. Yeah, but Shoykot was outspoken and he got clobbered. Let's be real. Raman needs to beat Pratt by 8.7 points in the remaining vote today. Instead, she won this drop by 22.5 points, and it was a large batch. That puts Nithya Raman on track to join Karen Bass in November, runoff between the two Democrats. Yeah. I think LA might be saved, boys. I think LA might have been rid of the Spencer Pratt cancer. Why don't you believe in Cali racism? Old white guy versus old Latino guy? Come on, America, you got that dog in you? No. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a literal crime scene. There's no way this is an honest election. Oh my God. Everyone who was like you were way too hard on California. We can do this. Are you kidding me? The fact that there's a race at all is enough of a reason for me to be sufficiently hard on California. That's number one. Number two, we need better candidates. Like, I'm sorry. That's crazy. That's crazy. And also, California is the one state where Latino privilege is higher than white privilege. Well, obviously not when it comes to, systemic racism and whatnot, but in an election, being Latino would probably be more beneficial than being an old white billionaire. Well, not just California's not the only state, but in comparison to everywhere else. Conservatives are saying the California Democratic establishment is stealing the second place spot from Pratt, but in reality, they wanted him to be in the runoff more than anyone because he'd lose by a lot. Yeah, that's true. That's unironically true. Karen Bass is probably pissed off. Karen Bass probably hates that it's Spencer Pratt versus Karen Bass. Starr got solid numbers today in 3 of his better late vote counties, but still only outran Hilton compared to 6-2 numbers by 16.7 points in the aggregate this morning. He likely needed closer to 17.2 points the rest of the way. That is enough to suggest this may take a couple more days to call, but not enough to change overall picture. As of now, Hilton has a firm hold on the race for second. Steyer heads, get in here. Don't let Hasanabi doomerism kill you. Yeah, sorry. I meant Karen Bass hates that it's her versus Ramen rather than this is your mayor.
As both a leader in our state legislature and a representative of Los Angeles, my goal has been a simple one, to actually make a difference. So that's why I first have to say that this day and this new church of Scientology is an exciting moment because I know your goal and your commitment.
Bro, you know how people talk about the Ro Khanna cycle, myself included? I think what's even stranger than that is the Karen Bass cycle. Get you a woman who can do both. Like, Karen Bass will go and deliver a keynote speech at the Church of Scientology with this ass music, but then also simultaneously will be like one of the biggest advocates for Cuba. You know what I mean? Karen Bass's background is so strange. In 1973, Bass, who's now a potential pick for Biden's vice president, traveled to Cuba with the Venceremos Brigade. I didn't have any illusions that the people in Cuba had the same freedoms I did, she said. Of course, scene of the crime, Edward Isaac Dover. She's also the only person in Biden's list who spent part of the 1970s working construction in Fidel Castro's Cuba with the Venceremos Brigade, a group that has organized annual trips to Cuba for young leftist Americans for half a century. Yeah, he's the hatchet man for anyone who's like ostensibly left. The Biden campaign knows about Bass's history with the brigade, which began as a joint venture of the Castro government and Students for a Democratic Society, a leftist anti-war organization that gave birth to the Weather Underground terrorist group. She told Biden's vetting committee weeks ago that this was probably going to come up. So far, it hasn't been a deal breaker. In fact, her potential to drive up African-American votes might help in Florida among voters who traditionally haven't been paid as much attention in the state. Isn't that crazy? As a Chicano that's not from California, I've been seeing Chicano pride accounts on Instagram calling Becerra a win for our people. Pure and unadulterated id poll with no class analysis whatsoever. It's disappointing because him being Latino is the only thing that matters. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised by that because, like, I feel like Latino voters don't usually do that. You know? Is that Scientology speech fake? What the fuck is America? Yeah. Another analyst saying Steyer's path is narrowed. Not the Orange County drop Steyer campaign wanted. Luckily for him, the Santa Clara drop was just strong enough to help limit the damage. The race still isn't callable, but you're starting to have to squint to see a path for him. Yeah, it's not good. He's getting squeezed. He's getting squeezed, Steyer bros. I genuinely believe the biggest issue for Steyer was that he was not seen as sincere by a lot of people because he's a billionaire. Okay. And the only way he could have developed that loyalty is if he just made a bold declarative statement about Israel. I still believe it. He needed the alt. I feel like if he had done that, all the youth vote that went to Becerra would have been like, no, because Becerra would have to position himself as being supportive of Israel because that's how all of the rest of the pile is. With no baggage, with no prior baggage, with tremendous amounts of credibility. You could literally be like, my father was a Nuremberg prosecutor. I know a genocide when I see it. If he just came out of the gate swinging like that, holy shit, dude. I think he would have cleaned house, especially because this would have polarized all of the other candidates, not dissimilar to Abdul El-Sayed going up against Mallory McMorrow in a much, much purpler state than California, by the way. Remember that. He's running for governor. Dog, what are you talking about? Are we stupid? He's running for governor in the state of California. California invests millions of dollars in Israeli bonds. What are you talking about? Yeah, he controls over $1 trillion in pension funds, dude. Like, that's just one aspect of this. California is a massive state with, like, even if you're not, for the record, even if you're talking about, like, as far as what the does a governor have to do with the foreign state, there's a shit ton. Gavin Newsom literally flew to Israel October 8th. What are you talking about? Gavin Newsom literally flew to Israel. He was the first American elected to fly to Israel. He literally flew there before Joe Biden did. Okay. What the fuck is the California governor doing there? I don't know. That's number one. Number two. Yeah, was a first responder, bro. And number two, I mean, Steyer stood 10 toes down with trans people, which is objectively more bold in Israel right now. Buddy, yes. But also, that's not enough to gain him attention. That's not enough to gain him attention because the trans issue is a polarizing one. It shows that he's earnest on that issue, but it's not the same as like taking a strong stance on Israel, an issue that objectively people are hyper focused on. Unfortunately, a lot of people, even pro-trans people, don't pay close attention to whether a politician is pro-trans or not. And there's not that many trans people in general, right? Yeah, Israel, on the other hand, is unbearably unpopular amongst the masses and seemingly the most popular thing amongst the political class, which is precisely why you drive home that wedge to showcase that you're a different kind of candidate, to show that you're earnest. I feel like you might be overestimating how many people are focused on Israel, but I agree it would have helped to an extent. No, dude, Israel is the entry point into having people pay attention to you. If you're going to look at it from a totally cynical perspective, okay? Because he had all of the money to get the name recognition, but regardless of the name recognition, there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough trust because he's a billionaire, and Chad is not getting that him self-sabotaging on a much more popular issue than the trans issue by failing to be on the less bold side of the public opinion might have very well cost him this election. It was one of the most overwhelmingly popular issues he could have easily used to distinguish himself from other candidates and also basically get his like major argument that he is a credible guy. Okay. It would have boosted tremendously with his credibility because that was his biggest weakness. He's not credible. People did not see him as credible. People learned about him because his name was everywhere because he was spending hundreds of millions of dollars. Right? Yeah, contrast with Claire, who's attacking her opponent on being silent for, being silent during the genocide.
Okay, Ms. Valdez, your turn to ask a question.
Mr. President, for the last 2.5 years ago, the Israeli government made it very clear that they intended to wage a full-on genocide in Gaza. Since then, many others have been in the streets calling for a ceasefire, calling for the end of U.S. complicity in that genocide, but I never saw you there. As far as I can tell, I don't believe you've ever called for a ceasefire, and the first time you called it a genocide was when you launched this congressional campaign. What took you so long?
Well, what's happening in Gaza is an atrocity.
Claire's so awesome. Anyway, look, it's not up to me in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? I said what I said. I have my lines, you know. I will, I'd like to see no Republicans on the ballot. That's what I'd like.
Bangladesh has had a woman leader. Most European countries have had a woman leader. America still needs to do that basic thing.
Just a genuine question. Why not endorse Tom Steyer if he aligns more with their politics versus the other candidates? I think endorsing a billionaire as a socialist is already ridiculous. And in order for that to happen, he needs to establish more credibility. And if he had come out in our conversation and straight up was like, Israel's doing a genocide, I'm in favor of an arms embargo, I would have endorsed him on the spot. He would be the only candidate on that with viability. He would be the only candidate with viability on that stage in the top 5 that would have said that. Viability at that point supersedes ideological consistency, or not ideological consistency, ideological alignment. Because if not, then Ramsey Robinson's right there. You know what I mean? There's a very good chance that Rama will pass Pratt and this race will be callable in less than 24 hours. This might actually be the result of him being honest. He's not willing to lie about his position on Israel to win an election. I know, but he should have done the reading and realized the truth regardless. He's an adult, you know? I think what he should do is fund the Democratic Socialists of America. I think he should be the Engels of the American socialist movement. If he actually is a real one and he cares about this, instead of spending all this money on the race, he could have literally just given that money, lump sum, to a political organization and change the game entirely and be written in the annals, in the halls of heroes, revolutionary heroes. Like, think about it. It's what? How much did he use? He used like $100 million on this race, right? $200 million, more than that, 240, $200 plus million. You know what the DSA could do with $200 plus million? Oh my God. Oh my God. With $200 million, the DSA could literally start an actual party and fight for ballot access in many states. The DSA could set up its own payment processor for $200 million. That's not ActBlue. I mean, that would probably be the biggest waste.
What do you, your thoughts on, you know, a lot of people in America, you got things that's happening in Texas with that one city, what is it called? Epic City or something like that in Plano, Texas.
Yeah.
What do you say to some conservatives that are worried about Sharia law making it into America?
I would say, please do not worry. You're being lied to. You're being gaslit. You're being distracted. This is a fake moral panic that's been blown up.
Because it'll never happen, or because Sharia law is not that bad?
Because it's not. Two different things. Number one, Sharia law is not what you think it is, but that we can park that for discussion for a moment. I'll come to that. It's not happening. There's nobody I know who's pushing Sharia law in this country. It's completely fake, and it's being pushed in ridiculous places, not just Texas, Oklahoma, Indiana. Did you see the lieutenant governor of Indiana said recently, we need to hate Islam. It's a demonic religion, right? And I'm going to fight radical Islam and Sharia. Do you know what the population of Muslim population of Indiana is? Less than 1%. Like, this is ridiculous fear-mongering.
It has 3x the U.S., I think, in the last 26 years, if I'm not mistaken.
But
Muslim population.
But it's still less,
not Indiana.
But it's even nationwide. What is it? 1 to 2%.
I want to say 4.5 million.
It's one, which is
what? Yeah, you're right. It's 1 or 2%. But by the way, it's, I mean, you're 3x and in 26 years.
I'm a numbers guy. One Muslim is too many.
Years. Okay. It's not like you're not doing a good job. You're growing.
We're growing. Elon Musk wants people to have more kids. But my point being is, it's not going to happen. But also, well, a few things. Number one, please let's not talk in this demonizing way about Muslim communities being a threat to you, because it has real world consequences. We just saw in San Diego, a mosque was attacked by 2 Nazi teenagers who shot and killed 3 people, including the security guard, who had 8 kids. Police say he was a hero, saved 100 kids in that mosque, in the school, right? Murdered by 2 guys. Do you read their manifesto? I don't like reading these shooters' manifestos.
I did them. I read the whole thing.
Some of the lines in there are crazy. They say, you know what they say?
Towards everybody.
You know, towards everybody. Jews, women, Muslims, gay. But the line about the line about Muslims is really scary, because they say, we don't hate Muslims. We hate Islam. We hate the invasion of our country. That is rhetoric that you hear in right-wing media. That is rhetoric that you hear in the House of Representatives. That is what you hear from Randy Fine. That is what you hear from Republicans. That is what you hear in America. So that is not just some Nazi shooter. That is mainstream rhetoric that has been mainstreamed on the right, and has real-world consequences. If you say, look, I've seen some of your shows. You've talked about Muslims praying in Times Square, that being some kind of threat. I would say just have a sense of what the real world consequences of our rhetoric can be. Words have consequences. Crazy people out there can pick up weapons and think Muslims are coming to take over my country.
You know, I would tell you, I've interviewed a lot of weird people on my podcast. A lot. You tell them, I'll have them on. I don't have a problem talking to anybody. I had a great conversation with Wes Moore.
Yeah.
What was it, 5 weeks ago? I've had mobsters on, Sammy DeBull. I've had Kobe on. I've had, you know, many different people on. You know what's the only one that brought so many death threats? Bibi was the only one. I've had a lot of people on.
Okay.
Multiple presidents. We did a podcast with Bibi. I've never told this story publicly, so they'll know. It was on my birthday, and I come out of the podcast. My security says, there's a guy in the front lobby that just got caught with cops with grenades. I said, this is a terrible joke here because everybody always tried to prank me for my birthday and I always catch people. Like they're trying to surprise me. I'm like, listen, this is not the right way to do it. He says, I'm not laughing. This is an 18 Delta guy. And I said, really? He says, yeah, look at the front gate. So I go to the front gate. I'm looking. I'm like, wait a minute. What is that? Cops everywhere. Guy shows up. I'll show you the pictures afterwards. With grenades, with weapons, with guns that came in here. And the number of death threats that we started getting afterwards, insanity, just for having BB.
Dare I ask, what was the guy's background? Do we know?
I couldn't tell you. I know he went away. I know they took his weapons away. I'll show you a couple texts and emails.
Was he quote unquote far right? Was he quote unquote Islamist? Do we know what his ethnicity was?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know that. I have no idea what that was. But the point is, the threat started increasing only after Bibi. So here's the part. When you say that, I think that applies to both sides.
I agree.
If you think about like who in the
100%.
history of America has had more assassination attempts as a president, where do you think that's coming from?
Wait, Donald Trump has not had more assassination attempts. I mean, does he know that American presidents have been assassinated or at least like literally shot in a much more severe way than Donald Trump has? What the hell is this man talking about?
A fascist, Hitler, this, that.
But he deals it out. He's the one who started the threats and the violence.
I'm not going to sit here and apologize for him.
He calls his opponents Nazis.
He's called a lot of people a lot of things.
He called Biden a Nazi.
But dude, the guys, after how many times they called him, he couldn't get anything right. When he was coming up, the media was just...
Come on, in 2016, he suggested the Second Amendment people should take care of Hillary Clinton. Come on, I have a longer memory. But let me come back to what I was saying. I agree with you. We need it across the board. I don't think we should have political violence. I don't support political violence on any end. I don't justify going after capitalists or anyone else. I'm against violence. So I'm saying to you, for example, you did a show recently, or not recently, I looked it up because I knew we were going to talk about Islam here. You have a show on YouTube called Islam's Hidden Threat to the West. You have another headline, Will Muslims Run America in 30 Years? Now, I know you like to host good faith discussions and debates, but you have to understand, if people get this in their feeds and their social media all the time, are you telling me that people are not going to start, if they hear Micah Beckwith of Indiana say Islam is a demonic religion, and then they hear guests on your show saying Islam's a threat to the West, and they hear Randy Fine saying Sharia law is taking over America, you don't think two Nazi teenagers with guns are going to go, well, I'm going to go deal with this mosque down my street. You're telling me there's no link between that?
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I'm not going to say there's no link between that. Of course
we have to be careful. Let's not...
Wait, is he just openly taking ownership over like fomenting Islamophobia, which led to a literal terror attack recently? That's crazy, man. I mean, it's honest, but it's honestly crazy. What's the argument? He's like, well, you know, if the Muslims, if they're good enough, if they're strong enough, they actually do a hate crime on me instead. Because might makes right. Like, what were you saying? You said might makes right. That's why Muslims got to organize, just like Hamas. If they were going to fly over with their little flying golf carts over the compound, the Patrick Bet-David compound, I have to respect it. They obviously visualized a goal and they achieved it.
Yeah. We know that demonizing minority communities, look what happened to synagogues. And I would say the same thing about the Jewish community. We have to be careful about our criticism of Israel so it doesn't lead to attacks on Jews.
The question becomes, for me, it's all on data. Meaning, if you live...
Because he's a numbers guy.
My community, you make it safer, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
If you come in, you create jobs, I'm all for it. If you come in, you assimilate, you love America, I'm all for it. If you come in, you don't contribute, you take advantage of the programs that we have, you don't want to create jobs, where is the incentive? Why are we bringing it?
That's a different argument. We can have that argument. It is. I'm talking about incitement. When you say Muslims, are they going to run America in 30 years? Of course not. We're 1% of the population.
I don't think so. No,
when you say Islam is a threat to the West. Oh, come on. 1% of the population.
By 2050, you guys are going to be the biggest population in the world. You guys make 2.9
But not in America. Not in America. Okay, we're not even going to be. Pull up the numbers, Rob. What are we going to be in 2050?
The difference between you and I is, I think long term.
And even if, by the way, if we do grow as a community, even that. This is, I'm sorry to go back to World War II and the Nazis, but look at the rhetoric that Nazis used about Jews in 1920s, 30s. These people are aliens, they are parasites, they're leeching off our state. The rhetoric is, it's very similar. When I listen to Andy Ogles, and I listen to Chip Roy, and I listen to Randy.
Yes. You think Ilhan Omar loves America?
Yes. You know how I know she loves America?
You think Ilhan Omar loves America?
You don't?
Absolutely not.
She absolutely.
Dog, what have you done for Americans other than hawk ugly ass merchandise at them? and maybe a multi-level marketing scheme. Ilhan Omar is literally a representative. She has constituents. She has constituent services. Like, of course she loves America and Americans. There's nothing more I love America than running for Congress, dude. What the a country that objectively despises her too. A country that outright yells at her, smears her, slanders her good reputation. I don't understand. In spite of all of that, she's still like, no, I want to do what's right by Americans.
Loves America. You know how I know she loves America?
Tell me.
Because she came to America, she decided to run for office. When she ran for office, she ran as a lefty who devotes her life to trying to improve people's lives. She wants healthcare for everyone. She wants healthcare for every Trump voter watching this show.
Speech of saying she is eventually going to return to her country and contribute to her country. She's only doing this to advance her country.
This is bullshit. Ilhan Omar.
You can, it's her words. Pull up the video.
Listen to me.
Pull up her video.
Oh my God. Yo, Patrick Bet-David actually thinks he's white. I'm going to repeat this one more time. Patrick Bet-David unironically thinks that he is a white man. And also, if Mehdi were to say that about any like Jewish congressperson about Israel sincerely, like not any congressperson, like just like random Jewish, like imagine if this is like saying that about Bernie Sanders, okay? Like this is the equivalent of Mehdi Hasan turning around and be like, well, Bernie Sanders is Jewish. Of course, he only cares about Israel. That's why he actually wanted to become president, so he could be the president that will do right by Israel. That's the equivalence of being like, well, Ilhan Omar obviously ran for office so she could defend the interests of Somalia. Dude, you think you're white too, Lamau? I feel like I'm a little bit more white passing than this man is. Come on, let's be real. And no, I'm under, I know I'm not perceived as such. Plus, it doesn't even matter because I'm not advocating for white supremacy like he is.
Her words. I just showed you Hasan Piker, and you're like, I've never seen that video.
Let me say this to you.
Go ahead.
Donald Trump has made more anti-American remarks than Ilhan Omar. If we're going to go down who loves America, she loves it more than Trump does. She did insider insurrection.
Ilhan Omar loves more.
100 times more.
Saying this.
100 times
I'm
more.
so glad
Not even
the audience
1,000
can
times
see
more.
that Ilhan Omar loves America more than Trump.
Well, one person incited attack on our democracy. One didn't. One tried to undermine American democracy. One didn't.
Well,
one pardoned 1,600 people who attacked America. One didn't.
What happened with her finances? Where did the $30 million network come from out of nowhere?
So now,
it was an accounting.
Hold on.
Wait, what do you mean? No, her husband is rich. That's it. What? These are like easily addressable talking points. I don't know why they always do this. Where it's like, yeah, she got married to a rich guy. Like that's it. That's literally the point. That's what happened. I'm so confused about this. Also, really funny to be like, oh, how does she make her money? Dog, you have been eating Trump's asshole, dick, and balls for the last 2 hours. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, there is any metric that you try to disparage Ilhan Omar with, Donald Trump has done a millionfold. What are you talking about? Shit that you're making up about Ilhan Omar, shit that you're suspecting about Ilhan Omar, Donald Trump actually has done 1,000 times more. Not even things that Ilhan Omar has actually done, mind you. Just like even when you make stuff up, when you're like, oh, she obviously made $30 million by being corrupt, and it's like that's not the case. Her net worth grew as a consequence of her marriage to a rich guy, but also Trump actually did do that, and it wasn't to the tune of $30 million. It was to the tune of like $4 billion.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Stay on. Don't go Trump, but
I am going to do that.
Go do the but
because
Trump.
Your argument now is first of all, I don't want to get into rights and wrongs of politicians' finances. You're telling me Republican congressmen are not corrupt?
You're doing a but. Okay, guys.
No, I'm just wondering.
Forgive Ilhan.
I'm just wondering because
just like you have this winding.
No, because
Ilhan Omar amended a congressional financial disclosure.
What's that got to do with loving America? You're telling me people's finances don't have a...
Yeah, look. Wait, you grokked it. Her assets, this corrected a major accounting error in an earlier filing that mistakenly listed her and her husband's shared assets as high as $30 million. That's it. That's literally, you grokked it. It says, that's the answer. You grokked it. Mehdi should let him read it and then explain it. Like, Mehdi should have stopped right here and just been like, read what's in front of you. That's literally Gemini, brother. Okay, whatever, dude. I just like saying I'm a ChatGPT it. I'm gonna Grok it. I'm a numbers guy. I'm gonna Gemini. I'm gonna Gemini this.
Amended a congressional financial
What's that got to do with
disclosure.
loving America? You're telling me if people's finances don't have Donald Trump is the most corrupt politician in modern American history. You just said he loves America.
Wait, you're
Donald Trump is the most corrupt politician in America.
Your,
Did you deny
that's
that?
your opinion, guy.
He just made
Because
$3 billion. No, it's not.
In your eyes.
Okay, Rob, pull up the numbers. How much? Pull up the numbers, Rob. Forbes magazine. How much money did Donald Trump's net worth go up by last year?
Let me ask you.
$3 billion.
Just out of curiosity.
$3 billion. How did he make that?
Are you going to go?
How did he make $3 billion while president?
Are you going to go?
$3 billion
Are you going to go and show the same? Wait a minute. If you're going to allow me to rebuttal,
you always rebut with a question.
Are you
noticed that?
If you're going to allow me to rebuttal,
I answered. I said Ilhan loves America.
You're a professional yabba.
I said Ilhan loves America.
Just out of curiosity.
You're the jump around guy.
What is this? This was maybe my favorite moment of the 2.5-hour podcast because one, it's true, and two, I knew the viewers' heads would explode hearing someone actually defend Ilhan Omar, who has been so thoroughly, dishonestly, and ridiculously demonized and smeared in right-wing media. Yeah, these guys think like, I mean, I have almost a similar effect on people where the moment that you like bring my name up in these sorts of circles, they go, oh, that's like an actual terrorist. I've actually talked to some people about this. I think there are legitimately a decent chunk of right-wingers who think that like I'm like a radical terrorist. And I think they think the same about Ilhan Omar as well. Like, it's not someone cynically claiming that because they're racist. You know what I mean? Well, they are racist, but they're not like faking it. You know what I mean? They genuinely think it. They genuinely think that I'm and Ilhan Omar as well. Like we're actual straight up, you know, wearing the Hamas headband secretly and doing terrorism, doing acts of violence. I brought your name up to my left-leaning but uninformed number 2 at work, and her first response was, "Is that the guy who beats women? Beats women? Does she think I'm Grant Plattner or something? What the? I think that person just was confused." I'm like, I don't even think that's a meta. I don't even think that's a lie that they've told about me yet. Yeah, they literally think that your stream is you teaching young Americans how to become Hamas and do terror.
Talking about who loves America. Now we're talking about
Are you also going to
Look
go?
at that line, Patrick. Look at that line.
Man,
Rob is good.
Can I show you something?
You know, you said capitalists expand. Rob, if you're ever looking for a job, my friend.
Yeah, everybody's been trying. So if you go back here, then what's your argument if you say, look, no, stay on that, Rob, stay on that.
Yeah.
Then what do you say? His first presidency, he lost so much money. Did you ever say that? You never said that. Because that doesn't add to your argument.
But this is, no, I've always said the second term is the term where he's got no guardrails. He gets to do whatever he wants.
No, but his first term, he lost money.
Okay, but the second term?
What about a second term? Market's gone up. He's made money. Market's gone up. Have you made more money in the last 18 months? He didn't make it from markets.
Do you know what happened on January 19th? The day before he became president, inaugurated?
Tell me.
The Emiratis put $500 million into his crypto fund. Do you think that was the market going up? They gave a $500 million bribe to Donald Trump. $187 million went straight into Trump bank accounts. Ilhan Omar can work for the rest of her life, do whatever. She'll never make $187 million. Trump made that in one day from the Emiratis. If Biden or Hunter Biden had done it, you'd be up in arms. Now, back to the topic of who loves America.
You said Ilhan Omar loves more than I'm so glad
tell your
you're going to be
here.
judged quoted for that.
Please quote me. Let me finish the quote.
And then let's go back to Islam
Let's finish
as
the
well.
quote. I will. Ilhan Omar has spent her political career trying to get free lunches for every American child, including the children of MAGA voters. Donald Trump has spent his presidency taking away Medicare, taking away health care from people, taking Medicaid away from people. So yes, Ilhan Omar loves Americans more than Donald Trump loves Americans. And by the way, when she was threatened by a Trump supporter who tried to kill her, he went to prison, tried to kill Ilhan Omar in 2019. She went to the sentencing and she asked for his sentence to be reduced to give him grace. I can't imagine Donald Trump doing that.
Do you know?
Gosh, she's so cool. Actually beast mode, dude. I mean, what do you say? Oh, what a saint. We genuinely don't deserve Ilhan Omar. We don't.
So I do think Ilhan Omar is someone who has actually a very good role model.
Do you know how many endless,
I wouldn't have done that.
Do you know how many endless stories?
You know what's also crazy, actually? Now we're going to have a lot more. Like, by the end of this midterm season, all of these like anti-electoralist ultras that also obviously have tremendous respect for Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, who have been yelling at me for propping up candidates, are going to have like 8 more candidates that they can point to that they love just as hard as Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. And that's what's so ironic about it. That's what's so funny. If you ask every single ultra unconditionally, like, if you were to pick 2, 3 politicians that you actually do respect in American Congress, they would all say the same thing. They would say Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Okay? Now there's going to be like 8 of them. Bro, they don't like them. Law, they hate them. No. That's not true. Summer Lee's another one too. I think you're super wrong. You think they would respect them if they need to disrespect them to attack you? No, I think there's plenty of ultras who just like sincerely have a disagreement with me. I'm not talking about bad empanada guys. What the f? No, I'm talking about people who are like not even ultras necessarily, but like there are people who are very critical of AOC, very critical of Zohran Mamdani, and outright criticize them with regular frequency, who obviously still very much love Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Those are the people I'm talking about.
There are of what Trump's done behind closed doors for people. Do you know how many?
Yes, and do you know how many of them are? Do you know how many of them are him screwing people over? Do you know what he did to his niece? Do you know what he did to a baby in his family?
This is all you're gonna. This is your hit piece, just going on him right now.
I mean, you're doing positive. I'm doing negative. Isn't that the point?
You're building up, man. You're building up Ilhan. Like if there's anybody,
there's no comparison.
Anyone
who knows Ilhan Omar says she's a good person. All of her friends, Donald Trump's people.
What is
everyone who knows Donald Trump says he's a horrible person.
Investigation into it right now.
Why did no one in Donald Trump's cabinet endorse Donald Trump for president second time around?
What is the investigation?
Why did his vice president not endorse him for president?
You know how he is, though. He
Why did his vice president call him Hitler? Why did the HHS secretary call him Hitler as well? That's the other thing that these Republicans do all the time that I find very funny, where they're like, you're calling Trump Hitlerian, you want him to die. It's like, well, you know who else did that? His vice president. You know who else did that? RFK Jr., okay?
He's a guy that
they all hate him.
Rivals.
They hate him.
Why did they come back? Why did they come back? Why did they come back?
National security advisor.
Why did they come back? Why did they come back?
Because the Democrats everything up. Joe Biden and Merrick Garland everything up. He should have been in prison.
Whose fault is that?
The Democrats.
Beautiful.
I'm agreeing with you.
How come
Merrick Garland? I blame 2 people for Donald Trump.
Unified Republicans?
I blame two people for Donald Trump. Merrick Garland and Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell should have voted to convict in 2021 to prevent him from ever running again. And Merrick Garland should have got off his ass and investigated him from day one and not outsourced it to Jack Smith with 1 year to go. And I just do want to come back to the Islam question.
Let's do it.
Muslims love America who live here. According to the polls, according to the Pew polls, 92% of Muslims in America say they love being American. So this is a myth that Muslims don't love America.
No,
and by the way,
I have Muslims who work with me. Right afterwards, come with me. I'll take them to them. If you want to meet.
Yeah, and they, dude, I love when he does this. He's talking about his Turkish chef, by the way. God, I'm such a Patrick Bet-David head. You know his chef is Turkish? He's like, I'm Armenian, and my chef is Turkish. He's a Muslim guy. Very good guy. And he basically parades him around. How do I know that? He's talked about it before, because I forget who it was, but someone brought it up. Someone brought it up before that he like hates Muslims, and he's like, no, I'm a numbers guy. I know Muslims.
So my point is, and their families are worried for their safety right now. Every Muslim in America I know.
They are. I think they feel the safest in America.
Let's talk to you guys
afterwards. I think they feel the safest in America.
Every Muslim I know, Patrick, trust me on this, I spend a lot of time with Muslims. Every Muslim I know is worried about what they're going to do. Have a plan B. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go live? If it becomes intolerable.
Go ahead and leave America. How come they don't?
Because they love America.
That's the point. What if they feel the safest?
No, but what if it's changing, right?
But if.
You don't think
12 years to
hold on, the Jews feel the same way, Patrick. You know that, right? Jewish communities right now saying we don't feel safe in America. You know this. They're saying it every day.
Sure.
They're saying where synagogues are being attacked, we're being demonized. So Muslims feel the same way, especially when a mosque is attacked by 2 Nazis. Republicans can't even bring themselves to condemn it. Do you know that Ted Cruz wouldn't even condemn it until I called him out on social media? You did. I'm talking about Republican Congress.
I can't speak on their behalf, buddy. I'm not them.
No, good. But
I'm speaking on my behalf. Whatever they do is their position.
But on your show too, Patrick, come on, you did a whole thing, I watched it, of you obsessing over this Times Square prayer. Like this is some act of domination. Why are Muslims not allowed to pray in Times Square? Why are Jews allowed to do Hanukkah?
Expansion.
Why is Jews allowed to do Hanukkah? Hindus do Diwali.
You know what my argument is
Catholics
against that? You know
Easter.
what my argument is against that? Guess what my argument is against that? You ready?
Go on.
It's going to go back to something you don't like.
Please.
You ready?
Go on.
Here we go. If Muslims do a better job expanding, they deserve everything they get.
But it's not expanding. It's
no,
just
but it is though. No, it is though.
Changing the subject.
It is though. If Muslims, I'm a capitalist to the core, meaning if you beat me, guess what I do? You got to tip your hat. I don't know if you follow
What if people
basketball or
aren't
not.
trying to be? What if they just want to pray in
no,
Ramadan?
but their vision. You want to go watch how many of the videos like long term we're going to come America. Sure,
Have
here's where we're going to.
have you seen the Christian prayers at the National Mall? They're not the same.
No, you can't.
Have you seen? Are you kidding me?
What is this? What does he actually believe this? He must, right? Like I guess there are people out there who are just like running around constantly thinking like every Muslim wants to kill America. He's just like, yeah, you don't understand, Mehdi. You're Muslim, I'm a Muslim guy. You're a Muslim, I'm a Muslim guy. I know how it is. All of you people are always plotting to do attacks on U.S. soil. You want to do 9/11s.
Can I ask you a question?
Watch?
Can I ask you a question?
God, Patrick, you need to get out more. You're on the right-wing algorithm too much. You watch Ilhan Omar videos and Times Square
know at one point,
all day long.
Do you know at one point I was sitting down with Muslims trying to find out what things we have in common?
Yeah.
Okay? And
Patrick Bet-David does a sit down with Muslims to find out what they have in common. You know what the answer was? Nothing.
literally, I was bringing Muslims to sit down and talk about them. You know why? Because to me, the LGBTQ, specifically on the T side, was getting a little too far. And
What are you saying? What could possibly be in the papers in front of him that he's holding up right now? He's like, this is the time when I went and saw a Muslim. And the Muslim told me he hates America. What do you have to say to that, Mehdi?
I think deep down inside to the core, you're there, but you know you can't say it publicly because it's politics for you over what your religion believes.
Oh, my favorite dumb guy is like, oh, you also secretly agree with me, but you can't say it. Okay, good argument, man.
As a Muslim, what is the Muslim position on LGBTQ?
There is no one position. Islam is not a monolith, but yes, in general.
Oh, let me read it.
Hold on,
to you.
let me finish.
Go for it.
Come on, bro, you're Shia. Talk about how Iran is more woke on trans rights. Perhaps a bit too woke. Remember when I said that and everyone got mad at me because they didn't know? I was making a joke in general, but everyone clipped it and they were like, Hasan Piker says Iran is more woke on trans rights than America. You. And then everyone got mad, and then only like 8 people corrected the record, and they were like, no, actually, yeah, Iran doesn't give a fuck about trans people at all. As a matter of fact, they literally do forced trans, like they do forced conversion on gay men. Yeah, they make you trans if you're gay.
Islam in general, obviously, Islam, I'm not an Islamic scholar, but Islam as traditionally practiced, like Christianity and Judaism as traditionally practiced, is very hostile to the idea of homosexuality.
Okay.
Theologically.
We have that in common.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Pew polling. Let me give you some polls because you keep talking about Americans, this and that. So in 2017, Pew did a poll of Americans, and they found that Muslim Americans were more
I love that poll. Yeah, he's right.
Likely
he
to
has
say 52%, I think
he's
it was,
numbers
Muslim Americans said that homosexuality should be accepted in society. You know how many white evangelical Protestants said that? 34%. 34%.
Protestants was 34%.
34%.
I have that data.
So Muslims were more accepting of homosexuality. Rob, I love you, Rob. They were more accepting of homosexuality than white Christian evangelicals, right? So my question then is, when you talk about integration, assimilation, America is a liberal country. It's a pro-gay country, whether you like it or not. Muslims, and by the way, we ran a poll. We ran a poll this year. One last point, Patrick. We ran a poll earlier this year at Zeteo from Opinium. They polled Muslims in the UK and the US. Guess what they found? Muslims in the UK and Muslims in the US support democracy more than non-Muslim Americans and non-Muslim Britons. Muslims in America and Britain support gender equality more than non-Muslim Britons and Americans.
May I read
so for your
something?
viewers, I just want to make clear, you've been lied to about Muslim attitudes. I'm giving you the numbers.
But let me ask you, what was your position a few years ago on homosexuality?
My position when growing up was very hostile. That's
very
conservative,
not hostile, probably very
hostile.
conservative.
It was hostile.
Okay, it was conservative. Okay, so if I go to
and I've talked about how I've evolved on that.
Okay, so if I go to some of the countries with homosexuality, 10 countries, homosexuality is a legal punishment in at least death penalties, legal punishment in 10 countries. Afghanistan, Saudi, Iran, Pakistan, Yemen, Qatar, Somalia.
What's the point?
UAE, Nigeria. This is where they're coming from. Okay, so Iran and Saudi, the only 2 national confirmed to have carried out government-sanctioned executions for that. Horrific.
Yeah.
Not one Shia majority nation is for same-sex marriage. Iran criminalizes
and yet Muslim
Iraq.
Americans are.
Well,
Interesting.
Not at the highest
Because that shows
percentage as you.
integration.
No, not at the highest percentage as you think. I think the part where
More than most white Republicans.
the part where conservatives and Muslims, if you ask me, on why that Muslim vote went from 24% to 31% for Trump is because liberals got so caught in this LGBTQ community.
it's part of it.
Let me finish the thought. That I brought them here to sit down and talk and say, look, you have 2 daughters, I have 2 daughters, I have 2 sons, I have 4 kids. For me, this isn't a position of LGBTQ community or not. I don't have a problem with it. They work for me. I will literally take you to my office right now to meet some of these guys.
I got Muslims, I got gays, I got transgender. They all work for me. Actually, I hired them just so I could point to them at times like this to win an argument.
And give you a tour myself. So you meet some of my staff that I have. It's about the force that was down the throat of kids. It was forcing that we have to sit there and hear what LGBTQ is all about and all this stuff being taught by schools.
I'm not debating that had an impact. It had an impact, by the way, on Latino communities too.
It did.
There's a lot of Latino
and they went
Christians.
conservative. They don't like that.
But by the way, so 2 things. One, I'm not denying that. I said I'm the one who brought it up and said it was partly LGBTQ.
Sure, yeah.
But it wasn't the big drive. The big driver was Gaza, right? And number 2,
Well, by the way, just respectfully, we're going to find out if you're right or I'm right in 2028.
I agree.
You understand what I'm
Trend
saying?
continues.
Because
But
we'll
right now, what's interesting
Fair,
is
yeah.
right now, as of right now, 2026, Trump has totally destroyed that coalition. He had a lot of Muslim support, not anymore. He had a lot of Latino support.
know in
It's collapsed.
28.
I know. We'll see
We'll
if
know
it's
in
the
28,
same. Well,
yeah.
we'll also know in the midterms. But yes, that coalition he seemed to have built, that scary coalition for those of us on the left, he's his own worst enemy, Donald Trump. With ICE, he destroyed his Latino support. With Iran, he supported a lot of it, and Israel, he's destroyed a lot of his Muslim support. But I would make a wider point, which is, at the end of the day, and I say this to Muslim communities, you can't vote based just on religion or just on foreign policy. You cannot be single issue voters. As a Muslim American, you need to care about everything in America. You need to care about the economy. You need to care about healthcare. And I think most Muslim Americans do. And I think they make decisions. By the way, the big reason the Republican Party will not win over Muslims or Arab Americans in numbers is because of the racism, Patrick, fundamentally.
That racism is BS. I don't think
What? You don't think Randy Fine's a racist?
Randy Fine's not my guy.
But he's a
Not-
Republican in Florida.
No, he's to me is
You don't think Donald Trump is a racist?
not at all.
When he says to
Zero.
Rashida Tlaib, you should go back to where you came from. She's
If
from
you
Michigan.
don't like America, go back.
She's born and
understand,
raised in
but-
Michigan.
but
That's
it-
racist, Patrick.
it-
When I grew up, you
to
tell
me,
someone to go back to where they came from, you
if
start a fight.
If you don't, listen, we're both
He calls
from the
Somalis garbage.
Dude, we're both
That's racist.
You
And
lived
know
in
it.
UK. I've lived in Middle East, but we're both from the same area region. We are what a lot of, if we walked in the streets and say we don't have a name, they will look at us in maybe a different way than they do the average guy. You're not a white guy, I'm not a white guy. Okay. When you're talking about all this stuff, you said Muslim, people coming in here. I'll tell you another thing that is a concern of mine. I want to know what you're going to say about this. When it comes down to age for marriage in some of these countries, give you a rebuttal. I'm curious. So if a person comes from a country, or like in Sudan, the minimum age for marriage is 10 years old. Are you for that? I don't think you are.
not.
In Iran, the legal age for marriage is 13 years old.
Okay.
As young as 9 with parental consent. Are you for that? I'm certain you're not, okay? And I'm not saying you're taking these positions. Yemen, no legal
What is your
minimum
point?
wage.
I don't
Let
know
me
where you're
get to it.
going.
I'll ask you the question. Yemen, no legal minimum age. 1/3 of women 20 to 24 marry before 18 years old. Iraq parliament in 2024 moved to allow age girls to marry as young as 9 years old under Jafari school law. Pakistan, 1.9 million child brides in Pakistan, 6th highest in the world, okay? By the way, the good news with that, I want to give that credit as well. Islamabad, capital territory, just changed the minimum age to 18. Good for them. They're making progress. Nigeria, over 50% of girls married before
What's
the age
the
of 15.
question, Patrick?
This is the question. Culturally, if you're coming from this environment to America, notice I didn't say every other country that's coming from Muslim. If you're coming from that culture to America, does that coincide? Because if you've lived there for 30, 40 years, and these are the values you've lived with, then you're coming here, there's a clash with the Western ideology. What do you say to that?
I would break this man's brain. Ilhan Omar breaks this man's brain. Ilhan Omar is a hijabi Somali woman and is infinitely more woke than Patrick Bet-David. And so am I. I grew up for the first 18 years of my life in a Muslim country. What the I mean, these guys care about anecdotes more than anything else, which is why I'm saying like it would be, I guess, somewhat powerful. But I guess in his mind, he would say, oh, you're doing this to fake. you're a phony. You secretly also believe it. Like he implied Mehdi. He implied Mehdi Hasan is also secretly anti-trans, but he can't say it.
I will say two things. Number one, all of the social sciences show that when people move to a country within a generation, max 2, they do assimilate to local values. And I just gave you the numbers for it. Muslims in America and Britain who come from dictatorships support democracy more than non-Muslim Americans in Britain. The percentages are there. American Muslims are more open to homosexuality and the acceptability of homosexuality, having lived in the US, than white Christian evangelical Protestant. So the data shows that within generations, they do not, they do adapt or do assimilate, integrate, whatever word. These are all loaded phrases. And by the way, Europe and America are different, by the way, don't forget. Europe is a very secular place. So when you're moving there, it's actually very different. America is actually more hospitable to Muslims coming from those places because we are still very much a Christian country with very conservative attitudes. It's funny, Rob's on duty, I hope still. I got a request for Rob here. You mentioned you're giving me these child bride ages. Rob, pull up American states. How many of the states in America had child marriages until very recently? What's the age of consent? What's the lowest age of consent
15,
in American
16,
states till very recently?
Like
so when you're already at 13, 14, 15, until very recently, American states, that's now. You can see there are states that until very recently was 12, 13, 14. So America maybe doesn't get to give so many lessons on some of these things. And by the way, what is the biggest scandal in this country right now? It's the pedophile who was protected by the President of the United States. Donald Trump not just protected Jeffrey Epstein after lying and saying he would expose.
There are so many places I can go with that.
Please,
but I won't.
He also gave Ghislaine Maxwell a soft ride in prison. He also was going to appoint Matt Gaetz, a man who was accused by the House Ethics Committee of sleeping with a 17-year-old. He was going to make him Attorney General.
Yeah.
So please don't give lessons to other people now about ages of consent. Not you personally, but anyone in America. Let's clean up our own house
Mehdi,
first.
the question isn't about cleaning up our stuff. God knows we have a lot of stuff to do. FYI, when people start talking about Epstein, I can guarantee you no conservative podcaster has spoken about Epstein more than us. I guarantee, just so you know, we're not one that they sit there and say, hey, we love, because they're not going to talk about Epstein. Go online on YouTube when you leave here to just gain the credibility. Say,
you're talking about cultural clashes. That's the point you're making. There's a clash of cultures. I'm saying there's not.
You and I are sitting here, we're talking. Can you and I coexist?
Yes.
Do you think you and I can live in the same community?
Yes.
Do you think you and I can live in the same?
you live in a much bigger house on a richer street.
You're a pretty rich guy, bro.
No,
you're a multi-millionaire, Doug. Like, don't act like you're a small timer.
I read on the way here in a Spectator that you have a 75 grand a week house in the Hamptons. I can't get near that.
You believe this stuff? This is all fake
It's not true.
stuff that they
Not
tell
true.
you.
He loves it.
You're so funny.
Oh, got his ass. Got his ass. Hey, you rich. Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
Vinny, we have to make sure we don't post pictures this summer where we're staying at, because Mehdi is going to be talking shit to us.
75 grand a week. Well done.
Yeah. Where were we at? We were talking about, okay, you and I can coexist.
Yes.
Why?
And my parents are from India, which has a lot of backward things going on.
But
a lot of child
marriage.
marriage.
You got a little bit of UK. You went to a good school. You went to Oxford.
Who made the school happen? My parents from India.
Your parents.
They paid for it. They worked hard for it.
But
so they were immigrants.
It's an FYI. But, okay.
But what if Patrick Bet David in the 1960s said my dad shouldn't come
Do you want me to go
India?
to a different place? Let me take you to this next place. You ready? Okay, let me go to the next place. What religious groups that come here make the most money in America?
No idea.
Of course you do. Hinduism, number one.
Yeah.
$166,000.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, great.
You know that number. Yeah, great community.
Now being attacked by right-wing Republicans in
Not
Texas.
me.
No, I didn't say you. I said right-wing Republicans.
I'm telling you my position. I know. And I have some, by the way, I have guys that are working here that say that. That's their position. But
that's why the Republican Party's racist and you shouldn't defend
we sit and we debate because we think that's the right way to do it. Because your book is called what?
Yeah.
Win the Art of Debating Argument.
Debate,
Put the link below, Rob, so if people want to go support the book, they have it. Watch this. Hinduism, $166, $200,000. Pretty good. It's contributing to society.
I'm a great admirer of the Hindu community.
Judaism, you're supporting of them? $115,000. You think they're net positive for America?
Yes.
Okay. Protestants, 82,500. Orthodox Christians, 78. Catholicism, 74. Islam, 68, right? Atheists are 85. Okay, they're making $85,000. And then you got, what is it? Buddhism. Man, that's a bad shout out to Buddhists. You guys got to figure out a way to make money, guys. This is like some serious stuff right there. They pray a lot, yes. So to me, this isn't about skin color or racism. Like when I meet Indians in America, I got to tell you, the ones I've met, they love America. They actually love living
I
here.
get what you're saying, Patrick, but and this is a slight problem for you because you say I'm not speaking for Republican Party, but you are in right-wing media space. There's no debate about that.
I'm not debating that.
Yeah, but you're an immigrant from Iran who came in as a refugee.
I have a slightly different view than
Exactly.
they do, yeah.
Exactly. So when you say Hinduism, great. Okay, go tell the Texas Republican Party. Go tell conservatives in Texas.
You know
do
why?
Do you know? Let me finish my point. All these Hindus in Texas, well-off Hindus, they supported Trump and MAGA. And guess what? They're trying to build a temple in Houston, and people are protesting outside, saying, "Take this demonic religion outside."
Yeah.
I'm no fan of Vivek Ramaswamy, right? I've interviewed him.
Alert. It's election day, not election month. Donald J. Trump on California elections, right on cue. As soon as it was a guarantee that Nithi Raman was going to ice out Spencer Pratt, boom. Did he say it? Love the suit, by the way. Nice shade of blue. Thank you, chatter. Big dumps. Don't like it. The only dump I care about. Oh, it's your prediction. He hasn't said it yet. Okay, dude. You got me worried. Where you get your suits, Unc? This is my dad's. Why is Mehdi equating Muslims with foreign? I feel like a lot of immigrant Muslims or children of immigrant Muslims don't account for the black and American Muslim population. It's true. They don't.
We had a great clash, but I do admire him as a smart guy. He succeeded in life. He's super patriotic. He's very eloquent. He's running for governor of Ohio. Did you see the clip the other day? Guy stands up in the crowd. Groiper guy stands up, says, Hinduism's a pagan, demonic religion. Why should we have you lead us? This is what the Republican Party, for you to say they're not a racist party, when I'm seeing what they're doing to Vivek Ramaswamy, forget Muslims, what they're doing to Hindus in Texas, what they're doing to Hindus in Ohio. This is a white supremacist party. Yes.
White supremacist.
What's your definition of racism? Is nobody racist?
No one, I think.
What's your definition of racist, Patrick?
May I finish?
Please.
You're raising your voice. Why are you screaming? I'm
I know,
sitting right
what
across
about?
from you,
What
bro.
about?
Like, let's act American, not Middle
You
Eastern.
shouted earlier, but yes, do Middle Eastern.
Fair enough. Okay. So to me, I think a part of it is, I think everybody has a little bit of bigotry in them, okay? Everybody. And I know it's going to sound like, what are you talking about? I think everybody is a little bit against some community. By the way, it could be as simple as you're a Red Sox fan, I'm a Yankee.
Party. Yes.
White supremacist.
What's your definition of racism? Is nobody racist?
No one, I think.
What's your definition of racist, Patrick?
May I finish?
Please.
You're raising your voice. Why are you screaming? I'm
I know,
sitting right
what
across
about?
from you,
What
bro.
about?
Like, let's act American, not Middle
You
Eastern.
shouted earlier, but yes, do Middle Eastern.
Fair enough. Okay. So to me, I think a part of it is, I think everybody has a little bit of bigotry in them, okay? Everybody. And I know it's going to sound like, what are you talking about? I think everybody is a little bit against some community. By the way, it could be as simple as you're a Red Sox.
God, he's like, the cuteness kind of wears off. The cuteness kind of wears off a little bit because, like, he is just such a relentless racist. Like, it's actually really annoying.
Sox fan, I'm a Yankees fan. I can't stand you. There's no way we can coexist.
Agreed.
It could be you're from Boston, I'm from New York.
Tribalism. People are tribal.
By the way, that's natural.
Agreed.
That's not like you were a kid, you were part of a gang, you're part of another gang. Hey, we're gonna
but attacking a religious minority is not.
so that's that part. The other side is calling. Like, if there's one thing, like I brought the what do you call it, Westmore that we're speaking to, and I'm like, you realize, like, for Democrats, why did they lose so much of their support during this period? Let me finish, and you can argue and say we didn't. I think some of the positions they took in COVID was out of control. I think some of the positions they took with LGBTQ, to me, was out of control. Calling everybody racist, a little too much. Calling everybody a bigot, a little too much. Making everybody...
It's really funny that first he said, everybody's racist. And then he's like, you know what the real problem is? Calling everybody racist. I feel like the real problem is the one that you admitted, if you truly believe that. Like, yeah, everybody's a little racist. Who cares? You know? F it. Stop calling everybody racist. That's the real problem.
I feel like I'm a bad person.
You need to read the book, my friend. These are all straw man. Calling everybody a racist. I was very specific. I said Randy Fine's a racist. I said Donald Trump's a racist. And I said the Republican Party's indulged racism and white supremacy. I can stand by those with the
Republican
receipts.
Party that racist.
If a party institutionally allows for racists to take power and do racist policies, what should I call it?
Oh my God.
Okay, let me give you one. Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now,
Yeah.
when you came to America, you came in 1990?
Yep.
In 1990, I checked before I came here. George Bush Sr. was president.
Yes.
And he allowed in 122,000 refugees, of which 4% were from the Middle East. So you and your family, how many came from your family, if you don't mind me asking?
Me, my mom, my dad, my sister, four
So
of us.
four of you were
But my dad came in '84 because my parents got a divorce, and then he came back in 1990 separately.
Okay, so
We
three of
waited-
you came on that.
We did, yes.
As
We got
vetted
we waited.
refugees
We
from
went
Germany.
to Germany. From
Yep.
Germany, we came.
I read it.
Yes.
Story. You
Yep.
came in 1999. So you're part of the lucky 5,000 people
I
from
agree.
the Middle East.
I feel like I'm the
who got
luckiest
it.
man alive living in America.
Okay, and that was George Bush Sr. I'm not a man I'm a fan of, but he did that.
Sure.
He understood the response,
Yep.
as did Reagan.
Yep.
You know, Donald Trump since October has allowed in 6,069 refugees only. Not 122,000, only 6,069. And do you know that 6,066, 99.9% of them are from white South Africa? Only 3 are Afghan.
Dude.
That's the numbers.
Are you serious?
That's a fact.
Okay, you're serious.
Pull it up, Rob.
Dude,
6,000 refugees. All of them are white South Africans fleeing from an imaginary
The
genocide.
previous guy brought more people than
120.
4 presidents combined.
Hold on, he brought in 125,000
He's trying to say, guys,
Can I finish?
time out. Let's get
100
jobs for our people.
No, we're
a
talking
little
about
bit.
refugees. Refugees are different. It's not about jobs. Refugees, your
Give me
international
specific,
obligation.
like you're talking
The refugee
H-1B,
program.
green card, which one are you talking? Okay, got it.
Refugees, vetted by, you know, the vetted program.
Sure.
Where you're vetted abroad. You check you're not a terrorist.
You idiot, you. He's talking about you and your family specifically. Okay? That's who he's talking about.
All of that stuff.
That's
what
what we
happened
did.
to you?
Yes, 18 months
Biden did
we
it too. He allowed 125,000 people. He upped the cap.
Okay.
Trump dropped the cap with Stephen Miller to 7,500.
Okay.
And since October, he allowed in 6,069, according to the
I
Washington
want to know
Post.
where you're going with this.
He allowed in only 3 Afghans and 6,066 white people from South Africa. There are 2 things I would say about that. Number one, that's racist. You let in 99.9% of your refugees are white people who are not refugees, and you don't allow people from Iran, Iraq, Syria. And the second point is, Donald Trump wouldn't have allowed you into this country, and yet you sit and support. You voted for him 3 times. Donald Trump would not have allowed little Patrick Bet-David into this country. How do you feel about that?
Kill shot.
So funny.
A genuine question.
You are so
Kill
funny.
shot.
It's a genuine question.
You're so funny. Kill shot. He's right. Bitch, you ain't white. You're a goddamn refugee too on top of that. Who talks about refugees being scary coming from Muslim countries? You mean? Little Patrick.
He wouldn't have let little Patrick Biden in.
No Iranians were allowed in this year. So how would you have gotten
You know what would have happened? We would have waited 1 more year, 2 more years.
for a
until we
Democrat
did.
to come and let you in?
Bush Senior.
You're a bitch. That's not true.
Here, let us in. He was a Republican.
for a better
Don't act
Republican.
like
Okay, for a better Republican.
No, but that's
A non-racist
That's not the
Republican.
point. The part that
That is
you
the
have to-
point. He did
it's
not allow in
It's not.
That's not the point. What do you mean? This is your guy. This is your guy. Your guy hates you. Your guy doesn't want you.
Iranians,
Issues,
Iraqi.
Mehdi, is it fair to say issues are fluid? Things change. Meaning,
No, refugees are an obligation that America has always stuck to until Donald Trump.
what is an issue in 2020 may be different than what's a top 3 issue in 2016, then 2012,
Many.
then 2000.
Plenty.
Yeah, right. Guess what? What did his base want?
Who cares what his base wants?
That's who we voted for. That's
a
who we.
different argument. You're moving. Why are we talking about? Is he racist? I'm giving my evidence.
The-
He stopped all refugees
the-
from coming in from what did he call them? Shithole countries. Itself a racist phrase. And then he allowed in white people.
Would
from
you
South
disagree?
Africa.
Some of these places are shithole countries.
I don't think you call entire countries shithole.
You don't think some places
you
are
think
shithole-
generalizing about an entire place?
You think some places are not
What is your
shithole countries?
definition of racism, Patrick? Because you don't seem to think anything's racist. What do you define as racist? If you say there's no such thing as racism, fine, but be consistent.
No, I don't know if.
Nobody's a racist.
No, I don't know if. I think it's a weak argument. I think it's a weak position to say, hey, that guy doesn't like me and my race and where I'm
Great,
from.
but what is your definition of racism? If you don't have one, say so.
To be honest with you, if you want this,
I think if you call an entire country, entire people shit,
think
garbage, low
every-
IQ, that's
I think,
racist. We
Mehdi,
did that to
I think
Somalis.
every single person has an element of racism in
with
there.
that. That's a different
from 1%
argument.
to 99%.
You keep moving the goalpost.
But you're asking racism. It's like not liking an ethnicity, not liking a community.
Yeah, not liking an
fair.
entire
Is
country.
that what you're looking for?
Yeah, if he says we're going to only have white people in and not shithole country people in, that's racist. Yes, I think that's racist.
would-
If that's not racist, I don't know what is. 99.9% of refugees are white South Africans.
Dude,
Come on.
Do you want to? Okay, Rob, can you do me a favor?
He calls
Can you-
all
can you do
Somalis
me a
low
favor? Can you do
IQ
me a
and
favor?
garbage.
Like this is the
That's
stuff
racist.
that you're saying right now.
It's all true.
Can you pull?
Why? Here's what I don't understand. Patrick Bet-David acknowledges everyone's racist and that it's like, I guess, morally vague whether or not it's good or bad, right? So just own it. Like, it's probably the dumbest conversation to have, to be like, oh, I don't think Trump is racist. How do you say Trump is racist? Everybody racist. Trump, not racist. How does that make sense? So everyone is racist except for Donald Trump? You just said everyone's racist except for Donald Trump. Why are you writing for him so hard? The conversation is over. The point, past the point of Mehdi being like, Donald Trump would not have let little Patrick into the country, is done. Right? From that point on, you're just It's done. It's over. You're a cuck. You're defending a guy who objectively would not let you and your family into the country.
Biden's administration, who was the guy that was the transgender that we're supposed to leave?
That's what you're going to? When I quote the president making racist remarks, you got no comeback?
Wait a minute. What's...
It's so funny. Every time. Every time. Do Republicans even try to argue anymore on the points? Like Ben Shapiro, for all of his faults and all of his failures, at least would like entertain the argument. The top dogs in the conservative sphere now just look at you like the whale meme and just go, Joe Biden was old. It's like, well, that's irrelevant to the point of contention, but thank you for bringing that up. Straight up. They don't even argue anymore. It's like there's two different rails. The conservative rail is just moving everywhere randomly. It has nothing to do with the actual point of contention. It's like, you know how the annoying strat on the internet is like, oh, you say you like pancakes, and then the opposition says, oh, you hate waffles. It's like, no, I didn't say that. That's a whole different sentence. These guys are like, you'll be like, oh, I like pancakes. And then this guy starts talking about, I don't know, how the color green actually smells strange to them. And you're like, what the f does that, what? Are you okay? Are you having a aneurysm? What do you mean? What does that have to do with anything? And also, you should probably see a doctor.
The argument of DEI with you that massively failed. Are you supportive of DEI?
I don't know what you're...
What the f is that? What? Joe Biden, transgender, DEI. What? 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 Please tie this back to the conversation somehow. And the more they get hammered with like actual direct points, the less defensible the conversation becomes, the more unhinged the non sequiturs get. If this went on, I think, for longer than 2 hours and 30 minutes, if it went on for 3 hours, the last half hour would just be Patrick Bet-David grunting. Okay? It would just be, Mehdi Hasan would be like, here's why Randy Fine is a racist supremacist, right? Here are the facts as to why Randy Fine is racist, right? Or is Israel first, whatever, right? And then Patrick Bet-David would just respond by going, and then maybe by some stroke of good luck, he could accidentally arrive at a talking point. I don't know, not even a talking point, just a thing. Biden old. Look over there. Look over there. Pull up the numbers. Look over there. Biden is old.
What's your definition?
Are you supportive of DEI?
I don't play. This is not right-wing bingo.
No.
Your words mean nothing to me. I'm from outside the right-wing media chamber.
I talk
DEI is meaningless.
Guy, I talk to guys on the left-wing side. Like, what do you
see? But Mehdi let him get away with it. Don't let him get away with it, man. Come on. It's off the rails. Yeah, Patrick Bet-David, Iranian style, doing mosaic defense like the IRGC, bro. Yeah. I guess, you know, you can get the boy out of Iran, but you can't get the IRGC out of the boy, you know? God damn. He just said, it, we're bombing Dubai. We're bombing Bahrain. That's what he keeps doing. He keeps slamming the bomb Bahrain button for no reason. Oh my God. What does the market think about this debate? Oh, everybody thought Mehdi destroyed him. I think Patrick Bet-David doesn't want to invite you because he thinks you genuinely are a terrorist. Yes, I know that I'm telling you. He does. I think he thinks Ilhan Omar is legitimately a terrorist. I think a lot of right-wingers actually do believe the insane slop that they read. If they read at all, they probably watch Fox News. They don't really read. But they genuinely do. Yes. It's very funny because like I live in the lap of luxury. What the fuck do you mean I'm a terrorist, dude? What are you talking about? like you say that too. You'll be like, oh, he's a rich socialist. He's obviously a hypocrite. Okay, so I guess I have too much to lose to be a actual straight up terrorist. Like in your worldview, you should be able to comprehend that that's not the case.
You think I just talk to right-wing people?
No, but the way you say DEI and the transgender guy from Biden and Ilhan Omar, this is like right-wing bingo, Patrick.
Is this a good pick?
Like he thinks that if he invites you, you'll do a terror attack on him? No. I think it's kind of woke. It's the woke platforming argument, but for the right. I think a lot of right-wingers genuinely worry about like platforming someone like myself. Like they don't want to be associated with like an actual terrorist. People on IG comment thread were adamant that you actually full-time live in Qatar. Yeah. At this point, it's the insanity's gotten to a degree where people just like fantasize. They just straight up hallucinate alternative facts about my life, and there are plenty of people who will believe it because they've been so negatively polarized. You know?
Pick?
Yeah, Rachel Levine, I interviewed her on my show.
Was he phenomenal at what he did?
I'm sure she was very good at her job.
So you think
what's that got to do with Trump being racist towards Somalis?
You think
Patrick, you need to read the book.
Wait a minute.
Because in the book I deal with people like you.
This is what you do for a living. The difference with
you are
me is
deflecting.
This is not
Donald
deflecting.
Trump says all Somalis are garbage, low IQ people.
Allow
is that a racist statement?
Allow this to come to you.
Rachel Levine.
Do you think? I'm
gonna answer your question.
Do you think this person was hired because they were the best person for a job or because he was playing politics?
Well, Rob,
that's a form of racism.
Rob, I'm going to read the second paragraph.
Go
Levine
ahead.
is a professor of pediatrics and psychiatry at Penn State College of Medicine, previously served as a Pennsylvania physician general. So I think Rachel Levine is more qualified to work in the health department than Robert Kennedy Jr., who has zero qualification. You think RFK was hired for his medical qualifications?
You think...
No, Patrick, do you think RFK Jr. was hired for his medical qualifications? What did he have?
By the way, do you know how many people previous to him were doctors?
Do you know, was RFK hired for his medical credentials? Yes or no?
RFK was hired because he was making the arguments.
Rachel Levine is a professor of pediatrics.
No, wait a minute. But
qualified.
I take it you heard you actually work for the IDF theory? What? People are out here claiming that I work for the IDF? Who the f***'s making that argument? I'm with you, Lamont. Oh my God, Jesus.
Saying RFK is not qualified for his job.
Not to be health secretary, no.
By a mile,
conspiracy theorist who doesn't even understand basic medicine.
You take a transgender to be this job, then
You think transgender people don't have intelligence?
No.
Is that a new attack on
No, you see what you're doing now?
You
see what you're doing now?
Yes, a credentialed transgender person is infinitely more qualified. The question is this, okay? Here, debate Lord Mehdi. You should have just straight up been like, you're literally about to die. You got shot in the gut, okay? There's a bullet inside of you, okay? In front of you are two people. One is an actual decorated doctor, okay? Went to medical school, did the residency, been a doctor for 10 years. That doctor is transgender. The other person is actually Robert F. Kennedy. Let's do that. No qualifications, didn't go to med school, loves crystals. Which one would you choose if given the opportunity to save your life? That's it. That's it. There's no way that he's going to be like, oh, I'm picking RFK Jr. That's just not happening. That won't matter. Patrick Bet David won't answer that question or any other question. Yes, a non-answer to that question is an answer to that question, chatter. You guys don't understand that question is positioned in such that question is framed in such an obvious way that if you don't answer it, it doesn't matter. You've already answered without answering.
Gender person.
You're playing. See the difference between you and I. No, I didn't go to Oxford and do debate 24/7 to see this as my life.
Evidence of Trump's racism, and you said, Rob, pull up the transgender woman. That's what happened. Everyone watched you do it.
But
I said Trump allowed in 99% white people.
The point is, the previous guy picked people because of color.
Completely unacceptable to target independent journalists like this and reporters in general, from David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen to Don Lemon and Stephen at home. I wonder if there was another California resident who was targeted that you guys forgot to mention. Governor Gavin Newsom's press office. He didn't even tag Don Lemon because he's not even on. Yeah, interesting omission from this. Nah, he's talking about the new White House page, brother. I know he is. I'm on it too. Weird how my governor forgot one name on this list that is a California resident as well. Yeah, David Pakman isn't even in his state. I am. Gavin is not defending you. How come? What do you mean, how come? Notice how he also said he would come on the broadcast and has not done so because, you know, he's got all the time in the world for Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Steve Bannon, and no time for his own goddamn resident.
If there is any party that's
I'm not even
racist,
asking about that.
was the
You
previous
legitimately don't with you? Yeah, no, they don't. He does not with me, obviously.
I'm not
because they
even
kept
asking
saying
about that.
black this,
I'm not even
black
asking
that,
about that.
black this many
I'm
female,
not
this
even
many
asking.
transgender.
Trump did the same.
The left is the party of the racists.
Even if I
you say-
concede that, it's irrelevant to my point that Donald Trump has blocked refugees like yourself. Patrick Bet-David would not have been allowed into
I would've
America
found a way to get
under
him.
Donald
You don't
Trump.
know me
You would have
well
come in illegally.
I would've
You're
came here
pro-illegal immigration.
You're so
This
funny.
is so interesting
I would've
today.
made it here,
Pat,
buddy,
you heard it here.
legally.
You're going to clip Ilhan
I
Omar,
would've
clip
made it
that.
here legally.
Patrick Bet-David said if he
Post
wasn't
it.
allowed
Post
in
it, have some
legally,
fun with it. You see,
he would come in illegally.
That's awesome. By the way, he does not realize that that's like the common immigrant story that he rails against all the time. He's not even making that as a joke. Okay? He's not even saying that as a joke. He just like genuinely doesn't understand that he is genuinely incapable of putting himself in the shoes of others, even if this situation is one-to-one comparable.
difference
You heard
between
it.
you and I, this doesn't bother me. I understand the
Doesn't bother me
game
too.
we're
That's why I'm
playing.
here.
I understand the conversation.
I'm not
that
here for
we're
a
having.
game. I just said to you earlier, this stuff has real world consequences.
Oh, this stuff has real
just
world
got
consequences.
Killed. Three
This-
Muslims just
this-
got killed
this stuff has real
in a
world
mosque
consequences,
in San
just so you know
Diego because Republican Party racist rhetoric. And do you know what? Republican congressmen couldn't even condemn it. I assume you condemn what happened in San Diego.
We
obviously.
100% condemned it.
But you know Republicans wouldn't do it until they were forced to do it. Brandon Gill was asked on the congressional
speak on
corridor.
their behalf.
I'm not asking you to speak.
I'm
I'm
not
telling
speaking
you
on their
it's
behalf.
bad, right? That what they did, not
But
condemning.
do you realize you think it's also bad that everything we had to hear in 2022 with Biden getting elected was about how many black female candidate leadership team we're going to have?
Diversity is
Who
a
cares?
good thing.
No, it's not.
Yes,
it's
it
based
is.
on based on leadership. When he was president, we're going to find a way to have
Well-
this percentage. Let me finish. This percentage of pilots got to be female and black. And by the way, Hollywood. You want to go to Hollywood? What standards they created? Do you remember the Hollywood standards? In order to win an Oscar,
That's not true. That's
Can you
bullshit.
please
It's been
pull that-
debunked. The whole, you're,
Can you pull
you're
that
just
up,
parodying
please,
Elon
with
Musk
Christopher
propaganda.
Nolan's-
This has been debunked a million times.
let's-
a million times.
what time
and
are
by
we
the
at
way,
right now?
I got a flight to catch soon.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
this is an important conversation because I need you to concede that
Zero.
99.9% white refugees from South Africa is a racist refugee policy.
Zero. I got
Not allowing people in from Afghanistan and Syria.
Next
is
time you
insane.
come in, don't book a flight afterwards so we can go 4 hours because I'm enjoying this.
Next time you're coming on my show, we all heard you agree to my invitation.
Hey.
I hereby invite Patrick Bet-David. You can bring Rob with him. If you need support, bring Rob with you.
So funny.
But we'll have you on
We'll have a
Mateo.
good time. Let me wrap it up with some one-word answers, and then let's go from there. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Since you already brought him up, I'll bring it up. So I'll give you a name.
Oh, Rob has just proved me right, by the way. 2 of 4 DEI standards. You don't have to. It's not something you have to tick some boxes.
What do you mean 2 or 4 DI standards?
Pull up the standard.
Yeah, you have to have 2 or 4 DI. They even said you have to have a underrepresented racial ethnic groups an ensemble cast of at least 30% represent from 2 underrepresented. Some of them even disability.
First of all, diversity is a good thing, especially on screen.
Stop it.
I know you don't like that. I know it's a bad
Stop
word.
it.
D
No.
word is a bad word.
You know,
your people are like clutching their pearls.
You know why
right
you're
now.
here?
All,
You know why you're
all the
you know why I'm talking
valuetainment
to you?
viewers are clutching
You know
their
why I'm
pearls
talking
because
to you?
Mehdi said diversity
Do
on
you
a
know why I'm
right-wing
talking
podcast.
to you? Do you know why I'm talking
Because
to you?
you needed to hear from me
No,
that you wouldn't be
know-
allowed into
do
America
you know
if
why,
Trump was president.
Do you know why I'm
you would have
talking
to come in
you?
illegally. That's
Betty,
fine.
do your
I highlight
shtick.
the
I'll
show.
let you finish, and then I'll say. Do you know why I'm talking to you? Why do you think I'm talking to you?
Please tell me.
Because you're good at what you do.
I appreciate that.
That's why you're here.
I appreciate that.
Imagine if I said, hey, Rob, moving forward, listen, we need 3 disabled, 2 black,
That's not
4
what
gay,
anyone
5
does.
this.
I know you need to tell your
Stop.
audience
No,
that.
I'm
That's
not
not what
doing
happens. In fact, the person who does that is Hexeth right now. He's literally blocking black women and women from becoming generals and
you
admirals.
are so obsessed with Trump just asking for a job, bro. Just go and say, can I be part of this freaking cabinet?
He wouldn't give it to me because I'm
almost
brown.
thinking, I'm almost thinking you are so upset. It's like, these girls that are so in love with somebody secretly, it's like it's infatuated with
I love that's the only argument you have.
No, you lost this one, but it's okay.
No, I didn't because technically you wouldn't be sitting here if Trump was president. You've already agreed.
I'm going to sell your book like no one's ever sold
I
your
love
book.
it. You
and
are
I'm
a
going to
great
tell him,
salesman.
go buy this book.
I want to say
Okay.
something nice about
By
you.
the
So I'm
way,
going to say you're a great salesman. Go for it.
By the way, the biggest part about this thing is I am so proud that we converted another socialist into capitalist. That is probably
You
the
didn't do
proudest
that.
moment to
I did
somebody
that on
like
my own.
you did, and I give you credit. I am so proud of you that you're
Out of the
publicly
business.
now a capitalist and you're creating jobs.
You can be a capitalist and a socialist.
Can we do the one-word answers, please? All right. Tommy Robinson.
Bigot.
Nigel Farage,
Overrated.
Sadiq Khan,
Underrated.
Ilhan Omar,
Patriot.
AOC.
Presidential.
Interesting. JD Vance,
Fraud.
Marco Rubio,
Little.
Little.
Trump. Little Marco.
Okay, I got you.
I want to quote my man, Trump.
I respect. Respect. Newsom.
Dude, he's like a kid. Dude, I swear to God, conservatives are so funny, dude. If you do that's why me wearing the Trump hat was such a good way to diffuse any conversation, like any heat off of any conversation. Like, they love when you make a mention of their God. That's why I carry this shit around all the time, okay? When you make any mentions to Donald Trump, all of a sudden, because they've decided in their worldview that you can't even mention Donald Trump, he's Adolf Hitler, like blah blah blah. That like if you crack a joke in the direction of Trump, that's like where you recognize his existence without immediately saying he's bad, they straight up melt like butter, bro.
Although Marco Rubio could be your president, by the way. Newsom.
Slick.
Interesting.
They're like Muslims, the white people showing interest in Islam. Yes, you're right. The Ummah loves a white boy that's like, oh, I say inshallah, I want to learn a little bit about Islam. And in the same vein, MAGA loves when a libtard is like even a little bit interested with Donald Trump, like even joking around about Donald Trump, but not in a negative way. Oh my God, they melt.
Idiot.
Bezos.
Spineless.
Spineless.
Spineless. What's the point of having money if you never say f you? Just rolled over for Trump.
So you just want him to
He doesn't like Trump. I prefer the people who love Trump. You know, I prefer the true believers.
Yeah.
These people who just hate Trump privately but roll over for him,
Yeah.
can't stand him.
Spencer Pratt.
Pratt.
Joe Rogan.
Enigma.
Enigma.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of him. Sometimes I'm like, interesting. Sometimes I'm like, what an idiot.
Have you guys ever done anything?
No, I've never done anything.
Well, you would do it though.
Would I go on Joe Rogan's show? There's a time when I said 100% yes. Now, maybe. I'd come on PBD.
Yeah. Why
I want to
did you-
reach new audience.
Why did you say you wouldn't go? You said to Bassem you wouldn't go on a bunch of different podcasts.
Yeah, I didn't say I wouldn't.
Did it
I said I
change?
struggle. Like Fox. I don't go on Fox. Maybe I should change everything. I've tried to have a hygiene rule. I talk about it in the book. Maybe I've just abandoned
I
all my
think
hygiene
you should
rules.
go everywhere. I think you should.
It's a
go
tricky
everywhere.
argument. There's pros and cons.
Do you know why?
There's pros and cons.
What's the con?
The cons are platforming people who don't deserve the legitimacy of mainstream platforms.
Okay,
It's a real.
so you're such a big deal. Like we shouldn't go to all these other places because
No, like if I go on Fox, I'm basically telling people that's a legitimate news organization. I don't
Oh
believe it's a
my
legitimate news
God.
organization. It's a propaganda channel.
All right, okay.
I don't want to be part of
BB,
that. Criminal.
Biden,
Criminal.
Hillary Clinton.
Annoying.
I'll finish with that one.
Wow.
So we'll finish with Hillary Clinton. She got a lot of credit, folks. This was a good conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Go order his book. Win the art of debating every
That's a horrible
argument.
cover.
Win every argument.
I love that
Mehdi
cover,
Hasan.
but it can be misread. Win every argument, the art of debating, persuading, and public speaking.
We'll put
And
the link
I've
below.
even
Yeah,
persuaded.
what the is that cover, dog? Jesus Christ. All right. That was good. Don't miss the
Patrick
handshake.
today that
Mehdi,
he needed to be an illegal
Truly,
immigrant to get into Trump's
I
America.
enjoyed talking to you. I appreciate you
I
for coming out
appreciate
and
you having
taking
me
the
on.
time.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
me.
brother. Yes. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Oh man, bye-bye. Okay. I was value-tained. I can't believe I watched a 2-hour debate, dude. I was actually value-tained throughout the whole process too. Anyway, that'll be all for today. Tomorrow is Pride Parade. Your boy might be in attendance. You know what I'm saying? Got to celebrate Pride Month a little bit. Just a little bit. Hasan Reactions, one of the best ones in the React channel.